Here on 5 Live, where we bring you live commentary from a top Premier League match every week at 3 o'clock, plus all the goals from all the divisions in England and Scotland as they go in the company of the voice of 3 o'clock's Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Mark, and a poignant start to the day's proceedings for what is a perfect winter's day here in Manchester, because of course nobody will ever forget the 6th of February 1958, and to acknowledge the 57th anniversary of the Munich air disaster, the electronic advertising hoardings with the clock stopped at that time, Munich, February the 6th, 1958, the flowers of Manchester, as Old Trafford has acknowledged those who perished. And in fact at the Stretford end there was a huge banner of the Busby Babes will never die. So a poignant start, and Manchester United players are all wearing black armbands, as are the Leicester City players. It's the red shirts of Manchester United, the white shorts and the black socks, against the Leicester City side in their royal blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks, that will play from right to left. And it's an attacking side that Nigel Pearson has named. Just the one change, Marcin Wasilewski, the Polish international, replacing Liam Moore, who came off the field injured against Tottenham last weekend in the centre of defence. So they have Schwarzer retaining his place in goal, Simpson, Morgan, Wasilewski and Delate at left back. Then you've got King, Drinkwater and Schlupp, Kramaric and Vardy supporting Ulloa. And as we're underway with Manchester United playing from left to right, they have De Gea in goal, a back four of Valencia. And straight away Schwarzer was forced into action with a back pass that he had to quickly clear as Di Maria went towards him. Jones, Rojo and Shaw at left back. Blind will play at the base of that diamond. Rooney and Januzaj with Di Maria at the tip. And then you've got Van Persie and Falcao. So, as Pat Nevin said, we expect goals.
We certainly do. And the way they started, Manchester United have tried to do this very, very high tempo to start again, put a little bit of pressure on that Leicester defence. And if Leicester have an obvious weakness, it's maybe a little bit of a lack of pace in that back line.
Yeah, they've got Wasilewski, who's 34 years of age, and Morgan, who's, well, he turns 31 next month. Liam Moore, in England at a 21 international, will be missed. A few Manchester United ex-players in this Leicester City side sprinkled throughout as Di Maria comes forward, plays it forward offside against Falcao. It was interesting, wasn't it, when they signed Falcao and Di Maria, and they said, well, who's the player who's going to miss out? And Juan Mata actually of late has started a lot of games for Manchester United, but to accommodate the four today, it is Mata who's on the bench.
Yeah, Mata, if you don't go to play part of a game, you want him to play the second part, because that's when the spaces open up where a player like him can make good use of that space. So although he'll be disappointed, I can understand the thinking.
Here is Di Maria looking towards Van Persie, cut out by Wasilewski, whose ball only reaches Rooney, the Manchester United captain, inside towards Di Maria, who didn't really control the ball, and Vardy will slide in and force that ball clear. They played 4-3-3 last week at Tottenham, essentially today. They seem to have switched to a 4-4-2.
Yeah, I mean, very adaptable, both teams. I mean, looking at, it's a very, very obvious setup for Leicester today. That is a 4-4-1-1.
0-0 here at Old Trafford, but a goal at Selhurst Park. Alistair Bruce Ball.
Dream start for Everton and Roberto Martinez. In the second minute, Romelu Lukaku has scored. John Stones' clever ball down the inside right channel, caught out Damien Delaney. Stephen Naismith got in behind. He drilled the cross in low. Speroni got a hand, but only diverted it onto the foot of Lukaku, who slammed it home from a couple of yards out.
So Crystal Palace, who've won all 4 games under Alan Pardew, will have to come from behind.
Again.
They did as the FA Cup at
Exactly.
Southampton. And his former club, Newcastle United, those Geordies who'd have backed their team superbly as they always do away from home, will be travelling back up across the M62 and up the A1. Very happy after a 3-0 victory at Hull City earlier today. That leaves Hull City still in the relegation zone. Leicester City, of course, bottom of the table, and looking for their first league double over Manchester United in 41 years.
Just trying to look at the team, the way it's set up just now. I was listening to Chappa's show last night, and it was all about getting the ball forward as quickly as possible for Manchester United. Maybe that's been a problem before, that they've not got it to the strikers as quickly, but they're trying to do that right from the start of this game.
Here is Rooney, who will go back. Should say in the Championship as well, Middlesbrough got an excellent result at Griffin Park. to go on to 53 points, just a point behind Bournemouth, who won last night against Watford. Middlesbrough won by a goal to nil, and Leeds United got a last-minute winner through Billy Sharp in the West Yorkshire derby at Huddersfield Town to win by 2-1, but concern with the Huddersfield defender Tommy Smith because the air ambulance was due to land at the John Smith Stadium to take him to hospital. As Jones comes forward for Manchester United in those red shirts to Van Persie. Van Persie caught late. Referee Martin Atkinson will give that direct free kick to Manchester United in a central position. Pat Nevin.
Interesting to see Jones there coming forward from the back. That is exactly what Van Gaal wants. He wants all of his players from the back to be comfortable going forward with the ball.
Here is the Argentine, Rojo, out towards Shaw. The left back will play it towards Januzaj. Januzaj will collect this ball then back by Blint. Januzaj, whose start against Cambridge United in the FA Cup last week was his first since early November. Wolves are leading at Bolton Wanderers by 1-0. Bolton 0, Wolves 1. Nudiku has got that goal for Kenny Jackett's side. It's Valencia on the right-hand side, can't find a way through, and Delat will clear on this near side, the left, up towards Ujoa, and put out of play by Jones. So no goals here at Old Trafford under clear blue skies as we'll go to Anfield and Juliet Farrington.
Clear blue skies as well. It's Liverpool 0, West Ham 0, but a clash between Chan and Andy Carroll. Bad elbow though as well. It looked from Carroll on the Liverpool player. There was blood everywhere. Chan's just got up and received some little bit of treatment, tissue around his mouth, wiping himself clean. But Andy Carroll looking very lucky there as referee Andre Mariner didn't see the incident. Liverpool 0, West Ham 0.
Thank you, Juliet. It was a lovely scene travelling across to the northwest today, over Saddleworth Moor under the clear blue skies and the sun shining. It was almost as if somebody had thrown a huge white duvet over the moors. As Falcao will look towards Robin Van Persie, and that will be ushered out by Morgan, and out of play it goes for a goal kick. Back to Selhurst Park and Alistair Bruce ball.
Palace very nearly level twice. We've only played 5 minutes here. Everton lead through the Lukaku early goal. Phil Jagielka just hooking one off the line. A really clever flick from Dwight Gale. And then the resulting corner, Yaya Sanogo had a volley well blocked by John Stones. Good start to this game. Palace 0, Everton 1.
Doncaster lead Chesterfield by 1-0 in League One. Chesterfield 0, Doncaster 1. James Coppinger has scored. And here it remains 0-0. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I wonder what Emre Can's done to annoy everyone in the centre forwards.
Meanwhile, there's been a goal at the Hawthorns. Pat Murphy.
To Spurs and to Christian Eriksen. He's done it again after that brilliant free kick against Sheffield United midweek. Right foot, 25 yards, in at Ben Foster's right. Splendid free kick. West Brom 0, Tottenham 1.
And Northampton are leading Accrington by 1-0. Northampton, who've won their last 3 games in League Two. Sorry, Pat, we cut you off in your prime.
No, it just Emre Can has a little contre-attack, shall we call it, with Costa, and now Andy Carroll's having a little go of him as well.
Interestingly, Juliet said as well that the referee, maybe if he didn't see the incident.
Yeah. It's funny though, because Skirto, I thought he's got a tough win with 2 very tough ones in a row, but he likes a battle.
So Spurs are ahead and Everton are leading as well, the 2 away teams in the Premier League. And another away side, Colchester are leading at Bradford City by 1-0 in League One. Bradford City 0, Colchester 1. No goals here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Leicester City 0. This is Jones coming forward. Approaching the halfway line, Falcao drops deep. 2 banks of 4 from Leicester City. Blint will come forward, but Leicester remain keeping their shape and their organisation, headed away by Delat. There's nobody really looking to go beyond Leicester City's back line at this stage. Valencia is now pushed up on this near side, the right. The ball will go in field towards Di Maria. Outside the centre circle. Rojo forward towards Januzaj. Very, very steady. Ooh, a little bit of afters there between Simpson and Januzaj. I think he just left a trailing foot in, did the former Manchester United player. Shaw with a cross in, and Schwarzer will gather at his near post. Pat Nevin.
One of the problems that Manchester United have got, there's nobody going in behind there, but there's only 10 yards to get in behind. It has to be a really delicate ball in that sort of area, so if you're going to play a defence-splitting pass, if you're Manchester United, you're going to play it from pretty high up the park. You're wanting Wayne Rooney to get up there, you want an Angel Di Maria to go up there, just to slip a little 10-yard ball through. At the moment, they're trying to play it slightly longer than that, and that's a hard ball to play.
The former Scottish international Pat Nevin with us on 5 Live here at Old Trafford as Leicester City will come forward. Kramaric with the cross from the right, unchallenged, headed away by Valencia. Unfortunate clearance from Robin van Persie, struck his own player, almost fell towards Vardy just inside the penalty area. Encouragement for the travelling Leicester City supporters away to our right hand side as Hartlepool United, bottom of League Two, 1 win in 15, lead Plymouth by 1-0 at Victoria Park. Leicester City will have a throw. Say Pat, this former Scottish international, the current Scotsman, is Andy Murray, of course, and you'll hear from him and how he fares in the Australian Open tennis final tomorrow. Coverage starts at 8 o'clock. The match is due and get underway at about 8:30 against Novak Djokovic, and earlier today Serena Williams won her 19th title by claiming the women's crown. Will you be watching that one, Pat?
There's a few Scots have no idea what to do, because obviously there's Celtic Rangers game going on tomorrow as well, and Andy Murray, so it's a big day of sport for Scotland just now, but an Andy Murray fanatic, and yes, I will be supporting him strongly.
And you can actually listen to both the Celtic Rangers League Cup semi-final as well as Andy Murray against Djokovic on 5 Live. And of course Dundee United against Aberdeen is the first semi, which is already underway at Hampden. No goals here at Old Trafford. Delatner wins that ball away from Rooney. Now he's got options as he drifts in field, the left back continuing to come forward, leaves it towards Drinkwater. Plays the ball out towards that far side, the right. Cross comes in into the penalty area, and Valencia wasn't aware as to where Kramaric was behind him and had to concede the corner, 0-0.
Yeah, I had to concede that, more for his own benefit as well, because it was him that lost the ball in a very dangerous area there, and there was a little chance for Drinkwater to have a shot there from about 25 yards out. He didn't take that opportunity there, but decent cross in there. A little bit better play now for Leicester. They're beginning to get into the game in the final third now. They weren't doing so for the first few minutes.
So in front of the Stretford end, corner was a disappointing one. Bounced before it reached the near post, and that was Van Persie to clear. Headed back in by Vardy, only as far as Wayne Rooney. 0-0 here on 5 Live. Early ball over the top towards Di Maria. Di Maria will put pressure though on the Schlupp. The tracking back defender didn't go out of play, kept in by Di Maria and headed away by Simpson, who was covering, out of play for a throw as St Johnstone lead at Fir Park. Motherwell 0, St Johnstone 1, and you're up to date on 5 Live. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
Yep, good chasing there from Di Maria. Good to see him working that hard. Just the first chance, because Leicester pushed on a little bit, there was a bit of space for Manchester United to try and attack in behind. This is a more like the open game we were hoping for right at the start. Leicester were just being pinned back.
Manchester United, of course, were 2-0 up when the two sides met at the King Power back in September. Leicester, though, in fact, United were leading 3-1 before Leicester eventually won by 5-3. And people say it's the first time that Manchester United lost a 2-goal lead in the Premier League. Of course, there was football before the Premier League. The first time since 1984 that actually happened for Manchester United. Doncaster have got a second. Chesterfield 0, Doncaster 2 is the latest in League One. No goals here at Old Trafford, but Everton are leading. Spurs are also winning at the Hawthorns in the Premier League. There have been victories for Newcastle, Middlesbrough and Leeds United in the early kickoffs, but here with the sun shining, clear blue skies, cold but lovely winter's day in Manchester, Manchester United have a free kick about 30 yards out from goal. It's fractionally left of centre. Leicester have every royal blue shirt back just inside their own penalty area. Rooney to take it, headed up in the air by Morgan, flags up on this near side, free kick to Leicester. Meanwhile, we're going to Cardiff and Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, Derby have missed a perfect chance to take an early lead here. Chris Martin's penalty was saved by Simon Moore down to his right in the Cardiff goal. The penalty was awarded for handball, not the not the hardest appeal I've ever seen, and Cardiff feel justice has been done. 0-0.
Cardiff who've lost their last 3 to Sunderland and Dave Woods.
0-0, not much happened in the opening 13 minutes. We've seen a shot from Jermaine Defoe from an angle that was deflected well wide, and a bright, breezy run typical of Adam Johnson that rather flickered out into naught in the end. It remains 0-0.
Thanks, Dave. No goals here at Old Trafford either, as Simpson will play the ball up towards Kramaric, the Croatian, and out of play it will go for a throw.
There was a free kick there by Wayne Rooney. He put it into the back post, and it was cleared by a Leicester City defender, and it was given offside even though the opponent hadn't touched the ball. But the reason being, and the assistant referee was right, it's because he'd nudged the player who was actually heading it out, and actually good officiating. I seen there was a few people complaining about that, but the official got it right.
Here is Falcao, nothing materialised from that throw for Leicester on that far side, the right. Now onto the Manchester United right, this near side as they play from left to right. Valencia's over the halfway line, shown on the inside by Schlupp, looking to link up with Rooney. Sliding challenge was made by Andy King. It's his 250th start for the club as he approaches 300 appearances.
A lot of free kicks just now, Ian. A huge amount of them in that kind of the area just outside the D for Manchester United. They're trying to get the ball in there, trying to get it to Di Maria, trying to get sometimes to Wayne Rooney in there. That's about 3 now in that sort of area, and eventually the referee's going to have to stop that happening, because every time Man United try to build in there, they've just been taken out of the play.
Referee in question is Martin Atkinson, who's marking out the 10 yards for this free kick. It's a 3-man wall, those blue shirts, and in fact, are they going to add to that just on the edge of the area? There's the old vanishing spray from Martin Atkinson. Rooney and Di Maria stand over this free kick for Manchester United. No goals, 15 minutes played on 5 Live. Rooney will leave it towards Di Maria. He'll strike it left-footed into that 3-man wall. Cannons away. Meanwhile, another goal for Pat Murphy at the Hawthorns.
For Tottenham, brilliant goal by Harry Kane. Absolute ripper of a goal. 15 yards out. Swerve took this man out. Terrific shot past Ben Foster, which dipped at the last moment. West Brom 0. Tottenham 2.
Harry Kane's 19th goal of what is turning to be an excellent season for him. And I'm sure he'll be looking to force his way into Roy Hodgson's squad for the internationals against Lithuania and Italy in March, and that venue has been finalised as the Juventus Stadium for March the 31st and that trip to Italy. Meanwhile, Stoke against Queen's Park Rangers. John Southall.
It's 0-0. It's very ragged. A catalogue of misplaced passes. Stoke had a free kick 40 yards out. For some reason, Marko Arnautovic decided to have a shot with predictable outcome. That sums it up. Stoke 0, QPR 0.
Blackburn lead Fulham by a goal to 0 in the Championship. Scunthorpe are winning at Leyton Orient 1-0, and Wimbledon are 1-0 up at Morecambe in League 2. And you're up to date on 5 Live here at Old Trafford after our first commentary of Hull City 0, Newcastle United 3. This is with Blint dropping back to help out. His pass forced Jones back quite a way, and then eventually towards David De Gea, the only ever present under Louis van Gaal this season. 9 clean sheets he's kept in 25 appearances. And now with Blint forward towards Januzaj. Both fullbacks are pushed on. MK Dons are leading at Crewe by a goal to 0. Third in the table, Carl Robinson's side. Crewe 0, MK Dons 1 in League 1. Here is Januzaj towards Shaw. How would you describe the tempo of Manchester United's play, Pat Nevin?
Fairly quick, but not quick enough. A couple of times they had a chance to play a final ball. Just Rooney a moment ago there had the chance to play a quick one and turn back in it. That's not what Van Gaal wants, and I noticed him in his technical error turning away, not exactly in disgust but in disappointment. It needs to be up just a little bit more. But as he says himself, Van Gaal, when you've got, they'll have 10 men behind the ball when they've not got possession of the ball, Leicester. It's just tough to get through that. It's as simple as that.
You're going to have to be patient. They were unable to find a way through against Southampton in their last league game. As on the turn, Van Persie towards Falcao. Falcao checks back. Ball didn't quite kindly run for him as he was trying to get past the sliding Vasilevsky. He's laid it out towards Valencia, right-hand side. Valencia's cross. Januzaj appeared to lead with the arm, and that'll be a free kick for that challenge on Simpson. So free kick to Leicester, goalless at Old Trafford, but on 5 Live we're crossing now to Liverpool, West Ham and Juliet Farrington.
Where Valencia has won a free kick for West Ham. It's just on the edge of the D, just left of centre, looking in a really dangerous position. Looks like he's stepping up to take it. It's hit the wall, but Liverpool before that under a decent spell of pressure as the ball is still in play, and it's just been headed over. It's still in play. The scramble in the goal-mouth area as West Ham searching to try and get the ball into the back of the net, but it's just gone out for a West Ham corner. Decent spell of possession this from West Ham. Liverpool though closest to a goal. Markovic with a shot that was blocked by Aaron Creswell. It's Liverpool 0, West Ham 0.
And we're going to go straight to Crystal Palace and Alistair Bruce ball.
Good time to join. Everton free kick in a central position 25 yards out. You know who, Leighton Baines stands over it. Everton lead through a second-minute goal from Romelu Lukaku. Crystal Palace through Dwight Gale have already had one cleared off the line. Looking at the TV replays, the ball was about 5, 6, maybe even 7/8 over the line, but the technology Delaney adjudicated that the whole ball hadn't crossed the line, and we trust that. So Baines has curled the free kick over the bar, and Everton lead Palace by the goal to 0.
And the only other game in the Premier League where there have been goals is the one where Pat Murphy is watching West Brom against Tottenham, and Tottenham are leading Tony Pulis' side by 2-0. Here is Rooney. Drinkwater was just pulling his arm a little bit.
Yeah, but he had another chance there. Valencia had gone again. That's the second time now. Rooney has a chance to go and slip a ball through. He's capable of playing that ball there, and he has to take those chances to slip balls through, because they're not going to get that many opportunities, Manchester United, if Leicester play this deep. Slightly surprised at Wayne Rooney there.
Leicester City are not retaining the ball when they get it, as Crawley are leading Preston by 1-0. Bottom of the table in League One. Ball hoisted high into the penalty area, gathered in by Schwarzer. Preston, no win in 6, Simon Grayson's side. Crawley, though, with their interim manager, Dean Saunders, without a win in 15, but they lead by 1-0 in League One. Goalless here at Old Trafford. What's happening at the Stadium of Light? Dave Woods.
Well, it remains Sunderland 0, Burnley 0, but a couple of decent chances from Burnley. From a free kick out wide, Ashley Barnes got up well to get the header in, but flicked it wide. A moment ago, Kieran Trippier, the fullback for Burnley, all of 40 yards out. I think he was trying to cross. It drifted towards the goal, and Pantilimon almost wrapped himself around the post to make the save. Here, though, Sunderland have taken the lead. The ball's been sent into the box, and Connor Wickham heads it down and in. So Sunderland have the opening goal to settle their nerves. It's Sunderland 1, Burnley 0.
And here is Januzaj on the edge of the area for Manchester United. Leaves it towards Shaw, left corner of the box, back towards Januzaj. He'll go on the outside into the penalty area, drills it in, headed up in the air by Vasilevsky on his knees, helped further away by the head of Kramaric on the edge of his own penalty area. Comes out towards Di Maria, who off his chest tries a left-footed volley, and that goes over the top as Luton Town lead Cambridge United by 1-0 in League Two. And this is the voice of Pat Nevin.
Yeah, interestingly, probably the best move of the last 4 or 5 minutes from Manchester United, and this time it was Wayne Rooney, but he was picking the ball up a little bit further forward, maybe just outside the D there, and he just looks as if he can see the passes that wee bit better when he's a little bit further forward. That comes as no great surprise to most of us, does it? Because he is a number 10, he is a striker when he wants to be that as well. At the moment he's playing as a really a central midfield player, and he's okay there, but not as good as he is up front.
And you'll hear Pat tomorrow for that 1:30 game, the commentary of the Old Firm, Celtic against Rangers in that League Cup semi-final in Scotland, and then we'll have Southampton against Swansea from 4 on 5 Live. Plenty of sport to look forward to over the next 24 hours, regardless of the sport, whether it's tennis with Andy Murray in the final on 5 Live, Australia-England in the Tri-Series cricket final from 3 a.m. in the morning, and then the Super Bowl from 11 o'clock tomorrow night live on 5 Live from Arizona. Phil Jones is off the field at the minute for Manchester United. Meanwhile, the deadlock has been broken at the Britannia Stadium. John Southall.
Stoke 1, QPR 0. Poor play from QPR, gave the ball away in their own half. It fell to John Walters inside the penalty area, and could Rob Green have done better with it? Possibly, as it went into the far corner. He got a hand on it, but probably should have saved it. Stoke 1, QPR 0.
Queen's Park Rangers, the only team in the 4 divisions of England without a single point on their travels. And it would be a worse start in the top flight, a losing start, if it were again to lose again today, since 1954 and Liverpool.
By the way, Phil Jones is off the park just now.
Change of boots.
Is that the slowest change of boots you've ever seen in your life? He's been off for about a minute and a half. I think it's one of those ones where he needs a special type of insole inside his boot, and he's waiting for it to come.
Sloppy pass, seized upon by Schlupp up against Valencia, got the shot away, slightly off balance off his left foot into the Stretford end. Valencia did enough to put him off. Here come the change of boots, and maybe that insole as well for Phil Jones, as temporarily they were down to 10 men, 0-0, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, he's got the orange ones on now. He's speeding up a little bit now. He didn't want to change. He had so many change of boots and so many types of boots he wanted to play with. I didn't notice he had any problem with his footwork in any time before that, so he must have felt something.
David Batty, when he used to play for Leeds United, used to have special insoles because he had a problem with his Achilles.
It's not unusual, you know, podiatrists and people like that will actually look at you, and it's to get yourself balanced correctly, and a lot of players really need it to stop certain types of injury, but you think he could run a little bit for 5 or 10 minutes until they're on.
Pat, we're midway through the first half here at Old Trafford, and neither goalkeeper has had a shot to save.
Yeah, it has calmed down a bit, hasn't it? I mean, Manchester United started in that pace that you wanted, but it was only for 4 or 5 minutes, and then it has gone a little bit calm now, and in the end they don't seem to be producing anything great. It was actually summed up a little bit for me just a few moments ago when the ball came to Falgao in the box, and he tried a little back flick, a little dummy. At his best, Falcao cruises round the defender there and scores a goal. He actually got it, stopped up between his feet, and nothing came of it.
Di Maria towards Shaw, left back, urged on, level with the penalty area. Shaw's low ball, Van Persie tried to sweep it in first time, and in the end more or less scooped it up in the air, and it drops out for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0. So in the Premier League it's Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1, Liverpool 0, West Ham 0. Stoke lead Queen's Park Rangers by a goal to 0. Sunderland are 1-0 up against Burnley, and it's West Brom 0, Spurs 2, and our football correspondent John Murray will be at Stamford Bridge later for the top of the table clash at 5:30, Chelsea against Manchester City. But here at Old Trafford, in and around the penalty area, there ain't a great deal happening.
Well, the ball came in there from the left-hand side to Robin Van Persie, and he hit it with his left foot on the volley. And oddly enough, for most players, I'd say you don't take it like that, but we know he's quite capable from there. In fact, he should have taken a touch, and he snatched at it for me.
So Hamish Marshall has already seen a missed penalty for Derby County, but you've had a goal now at Cardiff.
Yeah, we've seen a goal for Derby midway through the first half. Jamie Ward cut into the penalty area. His shot didn't seem that powerful. It may have taken a deflection on the way in into the bottom corner. Cardiff 0, Derby 1.
Steve McLaren's side, who until today had won 6 of their last 7, and that would take them to within a point of Bournemouth, who won last night. But just above Middlesbrough, who earlier today beat Brentford by a goal to 0. Leeds United beating Huddersfield by 2 goals to 1 in the earlier kick-off in that West Yorkshire derby as well in the Championship. We'll go back to Stoke and John Southall.
Stoke 1, QPR 0, but very nearly 2-0. A Victor Moses free kick 25 yards out, rippled the side netting. Stoke 1, QPR 0.
To Selhurst Park, Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Still Palace 0, Everton 1. Injury blow for Crystal Palace. Marouane Chamak's afternoon is over. Took a real boxer's blow to his nose, a sickening crunch as he headed. He went for a high ball and headed the back of Seamus Coleman's head. He was very groggy. There was blood everywhere. He's been taken off on a stretcher. Jordan Much has come off the bench to make his Crystal Palace debut, having just joined from QPR this week. Everton lead by the goal to 0.
You'll be able to hear from Bolton in midweek in the FA Cup replay against Liverpool. Bolton today have equalised against Wolves in the Championship. It's Bolton 1, Wolves 1, as Jones goes on a strong run out from the back with the ball at his feet midway through the Leicester half, out towards that far side. And now this is Van Persie, who will leave it towards Shaw. The two continue to combine.
It was odd there, but Jones, came out from the back and ran 40 or 50, maybe 60 yards with the ball. If he'd have passed it that 60 yards, it would have probably been a better thing to do, because that would have went quicker than him, and they could have maybe kept on attacking that little bit quicker. As it was, they ran into traffic, turned it back, and we're back into that position where Man United, as usual, have control of the ball, have possession, but not looking hugely dangerous at the moment.
No,
and you usually say that and they score within the next 30 seconds.
Yes. Lacking creativity at the moment, though, Manchester United, as Di Maria unable to find a way through towards Falcao. That was cut out by the right foot of Vasilevsky, but Blint will win it back. Flag stays down. This is Van Persie, and Robin Van Persie scores. Leicester were looking for the flag that never materialised, and that was the two Dutchmen combining, and Robin Van Persie slotted the ball past Schwarzer, and Manchester United take the lead.
I'd say that was 35 seconds after I suggested that they weren't creating a great deal just now, but they just turned up. To be honest, there is a big question over offside there. There are not too many arguments for defence, although there are some daggers by the Leicester City defenders over towards the assistant referee who's right beside us. It must be tight. Lost possession in a difficult area. Yeah, he's offside for me. He's about a yard offside, I think. And the officials got that one wrong. It's tough. It happens at real speed, but at the moment they're trying to play a high line. You take a chance there. They've not done it very often in this game to play that slightly higher line. They've tried it once there and they've been caught, but I think that was probably offside.
Well, Robin Van Persie has scored his 9th goal of the season, and that means that he has now become their top scorer. So Manchester United are ahead. Let's go to the Hawthorns and Pat Murphy.
It's still West Brom 0, Tottenham 2. Two brilliant goals from Eriksson and Kane. For long periods, West Brom just aren't seeing the ball. Occasionally Tottenham loan it back to them. But just now, Anichbe, Morrison, good chip, tipped over the Spurs bar by Loris. West Brom 0, Tottenham 2.
Bolton have come from behind. They now lead Wolves by 2 goals to 1 in the Championship, and Coventry are ahead against Rochdale at the Ricoh. And that's in League One. Coventry City 1, Rochdale 0. Manchester United are leading by a goal to 0. What about at Anfield? Juliet Farrington.
Still 0-0, but it's end-to-end, and it was almost 1-0 Liverpool. But Adrian saving low at the post from Coutinho's shot, and Markovic and Downing, they've had a talking to from Andre Mariner. It's pretty feisty here. Liverpool feeling hard done by as well. Adam Lallana's shot, that was blocked. It appeared to hit Winston Reid on the hand. They wanted a penalty. Mariner said no. Liverpool 0, West Ham 0.
So that's the only game in the Barclays Premier League that is goalless, because Everton are winning at Crystal Palace by a goal to 0. Stoke are leading Queen's Park Rangers 1-0. Sunderland are 1-0 up against Burnley, and as we've just heard from Pat, Spurs still lead by 2 goals to 0 at the Hawthorns. And here, Robin van Persie has put Manchester United ahead against Leicester City. You're up to date on 5 Live in the Premier League as we approach the half-hour mark. Manchester United continuing to see a lot of the ball. This is Di Maria looking towards Januzaj. Free kick awarded by Martin Atkinson. We'll go into the Championship now, and Portman Road, Rob Nothman.
Ipswich 0, Wigan 0. Ipswich edging it. Tab has had 2 chances. The second one he blazed over when a bit more composure would have served him well. Fortune headed over for Wigan, but they're playing with commendable spirit. It's Ipswich 0, Wigan 0.
Wigan, who've only had 1 win in their last 14. Ipswich, who slipped to 4th in the table after Middlesbrough beating Brentford earlier today. And we know that Derby County are leading Cardiff by a goal to 0 in the Championship. Plymouth have equalised at Hartlepool, 1-1 at Victoria Park. John Sheridan side with the leveller against bottom of the table Hartlepool. Free kick from Rooney, headed away by Drinkwater on the edge of his own penalty area. Peterborough are leading Yeovil by a goal to 0 at London Road in League One. That's Darren Ferguson's side. 1-0 up, headed away by Schlupp, kept in play. No, in fact, he let it out of play. Will Jones for a throw for Manchester United. All feels rather routine, doesn't it, here?
Well, yeah, it does. I mean, Manchester United have had the vast majority of the play, but as you say, they weren't creating that many really decent chances there. But if you have that much of the ball in the last third, certainly 1 or 2 chances will fall, and that's what happened.
Cross is high and deep from Di Maria over on that far side, the left.
Big question now is for Leicester, isn't it? Are they going to come out a little bit further? I mean, they're set up with a 4-4-2, but that 4 and that 4 have stayed pretty deep for the vast majority of this game. We're going to go down now. They won't come out completely, early on in this half, but I mean, eventually they need to come out, and when that happens, there'll be spaces for Falcao to run into, and certainly spaces for Di Maria to develop behind them.
A number of years ago now, though, when Nigel Pearson was a caretaker manager of Newcastle, Newcastle were beaten at Old Trafford by 6 goals to 0. Scunthorpe have got a second goal at Leyton Orient in League One. Leyton Orient 0, Scunthorpe 2. To the Hawthorns and Pat Murphy.
It's still West Brom 0, Tottenham 2, but Loris in the Tottenham goal has made a second brilliant save. Jakob coming in 10 yards out to his right, great save. 2-0 Tottenham.
Manchester United have just scored a second. Van Persie towards Di Maria. Di Maria's shot wasn't held by Schwarzer, and Falcao following up has forced the ball over the goal line. And Manchester United, with 14 minutes to go to half-time, lead by 2 goals to 0.
Well, it's still awfully routine now. Complete control from Manchester United. They just tried to push up another 10 yards. Leicester City there, understandably. They need to try and get back into the game. But I don't think they've got enough pace. You said it right at the start of the game. Is there enough pace in that back line? Well, absolutely not, because Di Maria goes away for them there very easily. Smacks the ball. Did the last touch come from Falcao? He's claiming it does. I mean, certainly the 2 defenders who are sliding them alongside him, they don't want to take the goal there. But I hope for his case, it's come off Falcao. Maybe a deflection onto him. Doesn't matter, he's got the goal.
So Manchester United lead by 2 goals to 0. Oldham have taken the lead against Notts County. It's 1-0. MK Dons have increased their lead through Dean Bowditch at Crewe, now leading 2-0. Tranmere, who are going really well at the minute under Mickey Adams. Exeter City 0, Tranmere Rovers 1. And Luton Town, also in League 2, now lead Cambridge United by 2 goals to 0. And you're up to date on 5 Live. Well, Pat Nevin, Leicester City are going to have to come out and play now.
Yeah, well, they've done it before. It's Manchester United, to be fair. So, I mean, all is absolutely not lost, but it's that much more difficult against a Manchester United team that are at home and their tails are up just now. They've got real belief in themselves. And you can see already that Leicester are trying to push a little bit further up the field. And that's so dangerous because, we talk about Mata, Di Maria's playing in that number kind of 10 role instead of Mata. Well, his pace made a huge difference getting beyond the last man for that second goal. So, that's a bad tackle there. Referees, I thought he may be tempted to reach for his Yeah, he is reaching for his pocket.
That was Drinkwater, who is going to be in trouble with Martin Atkinson. You talk as well, though, about Leicester City and managing the pace of Manchester United. Leicester City, I've only seen them 2 or 3 times in the flesh. The player that they're missing for me away on the African nations is the Algerian, Mahrez.
Yeah, but you have to deal with that. I mean, you buy players that are possibly going to go away to the African Nations Cup, African Cup of Nations. You have to know that you can cover them when they are actually away just now. But certainly, they need something more than that. They need somebody up front who can score a goal for them.
So Manchester United are 2-0 up. Are Stoke City, John Southall?
Yes, they are. Stoke City 2, QPR 0. Stephen Ireland played in. Jonathan Walters 16 yards out, and he tucked it into the bottom corner. QPR's problems away from home continue. Stoke City 2, QPR 0. There's been a goal at Sunderland. Dave Woods.
Jermaine Defoe's first goal in English football for over a year has given Sunderland a 2-0 lead against Burnley. He was at the end, a simple tap-in at the end of a very good build-up, starting with an excellent pass by Adam Johnson that set Burnley off balance in the first place, but Defoe has finished it. I think it was just onside, the replay show. It's Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
So Manchester United, Spurs, Sunderland and Stoke City are all leading 2-0. Everton still lead through that early goal from Lukaku at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace by 1-0, and it's Liverpool 0, West Ham United 0. Elsewhere, Oldham now lead Notts County 2-0 at Boundary Park. Reading have taken the lead against Sheffield Wednesday by 1-0. Northampton have got a second at Accrington, 2-0 in League 2, and you're up to date on 5 Live as we've got about 10 minutes to go to half-time, and Falcao and Robin van Persie with the goals.
Well, Falcao's just taken another hit there, and they're not holding back the tackles. I think Manchester United players can complain a little bit because, you know, with their backs to the goal, you would feel that it should be allowed to hold the ball up, you know, but at times, I would say maybe 5 or 6 times during this game so far, Leicester City defenders, and they're taking it in turns, have come through the back of Manchester United forwards and left them in a heap, and that time it was Falcao's turn. But he's got up, he's got a spring in his step because he scored a goal.
2 goals in 5 minutes then for Manchester United. On 5 Live as Rooney goes back, and this will be a 2-goal lead that they will not want to relinquish, unlike back in September in that enthralling encounter that Leicester City won by 5-3, but then bizarrely went a further 13 games in the Premier League without a win.
I think that's the point, isn't it? It was bizarre. You know, you don't take much out of that game because now and again extremely bizarre, you know, high-scoring games happen in the Premier League. It's, you know, it's fairly unusual, but every season there's 2 or 3 that are just take your breath away how bizarre they are.
And it means as well for Hull City, who'd already lost today, losing 3-0 at home to Newcastle United, that the 2 teams behind them, Queen's Park Rangers and Leicester, are also losing. And then you've got Burnley just above them, who are losing as well. I think when you look at the run-in that Steve Bruce has got, I still think that Hull City will pull clear.
Well, you keep on waiting for them to happen, though. It's taken a long time for it to happen for them, and that was a big one today. 3, absolutely not expected by anyone, I don't think, beforehand.
Well, we mentioned Queen's Park Rangers. There's been another goal. John Southall.
They're back in it. Stoke 2, QPR 1. Barton played it across to Charlie Austin 6 yards out. His shot was deflected and it fell to Nico Kranjčar 5 yards out. He couldn't miss. QPR back in the game. Stoke 2, QPR 1.
Just over 8 minutes to go to half-time here on 5 Live at Old Trafford. Manchester United leading by 2-0. Shaw midway through the Leicester half. Leicester City at the minute can't get near the ball as Falcao drops deep and plays the ball back to Rojo. Blint, as he often does, as the 2 central defenders peel out wide, slots in the middle of them to link up now with Rooney towards Di Maria. Leicester City at the minute are just chasing Manchester United. This is Valencia coming forward for the red shirts of the home team. Last touch came off Valencia. It'll be a Leicester throw on this near side. So to Anfield and Juliet Farrington.
It's a good one, this. It's 0-0, plenty of incident, but still no goals. Song has just taken out Henderson and Liverpool have just got a free kick, but I was going to say that Carroll almost broke the deadlock with heading home from a corner, Amalfitano's corner. James Collins headed on to Carroll, who headed towards the near post, but Mignolet got a hand to it. We're approaching half-time here. Henderson standing over this ball. As he steps up, no, he's just replacing the ball. It's Liverpool 0, West Ham 0.
Well, that was a push in the back from Valencia on Schlupp, and Martin Atkinson has given that free kick to Leicester City as they're inside Manchester United territory, but trailing by 2-0.
Yeah, but more worryingly, they're not getting a kick of the ball for large periods of time just now. And I mean, certainly an increase in confidence from Manchester United when they scored the first goal, but since the second one, they've completely controlled it. Leicester have to try and get something, you think, back before half-time. Hardly had any chances. Here's a little opportunity.
Drinkwater with a diagonal free kick, edge of the area, and that's Morgan tussling for it, battling with the ball, and Januzaj with the early release towards Falcao, cut out by Simpson on that far side, plays the ball forward, out of play it goes for a throw. So Manchester United very comfortable, leading 2-0 here at Old Trafford to Selhurst Park, and Alistair Bruce ball.
Crystal Palace still striving for a first-half equaliser against Everton. I think actually they've been the better team. They have created more chances. Dwight Gale's had one hooked off the line. The latest, Jason Punchin's swerving shot palmed away by Joel Robles. Everton not playing all that well. They lead through the goal from Lukaku, which came in the second minute. Palace 0, Everton 1.
Exeter City have equalised at home to Tranmere in League 2. Exeter 1, Tranmere 1. I don't know if you heard the interview with Richard Delat that Pat Murphy did, and we played it earlier on, and Pat made the point that they haven't been spanked by anybody yet, this Leicester City side.
Oddly enough, I said the same to Chappells just before the game. You know, that's the thing, no one seems to give them a real good hammering. I mean, but, you know, they need to come out. It's all very well getting beat 1-0 if you're not coming out, you know. Teams will actually put up with that. I mean, Manchester United, you wouldn't say 2-0's a hammering, but, you know, they need to try and make a dent in that just now, and that's when you do get a hammering, when you go and open up a little bit. So far they haven't.
Well, the travelling supporter trying to urge the blue shirts on as they play from right to left, trailing 2-0. Here is Delat, can't get past Rooney as he tried to cut inside, playing it at left back. And the ball eventually swept away by Konchesky downfield, headed up in the air by the long, dark-haired figure of Falcao. That bouncing ball is forcefully headed away by Simpson, and then they tried to exploit that gap where Simpson had just moved forward, the Leicester right back on that far side. Now here is Vardy, outside the centre circle of his own half. I was going to say he's given the ball away, but he must have been impeded because referee Martin Atkinson has given a free kick to Leicester City inside their own half, outside the centre circle. 5 minutes to half-time, 2-0 Manchester United, and West Brom against Spurs. Pat Murphy.
Tottenham still lead 2-0 through Eriksson and Kane, but at the other end now, Dawson's just hit the top of the bar from a Morrison free kick. The keeper, Loris, was beaten. It's West Brom 0, Tottenham 2. You mentioned that Delat interview, Ian. Definitely on message throughout. Don't mention the 5-3 September. Never happened.
No, yes, with trying to move on, I think, from that. And certainly it's the here and now as far as Nigel Pearson is concerned. And recently as well, they've been doing well. 4 points out of 6 on their travels, but they could be undone here at the back. Falcao turns, plays the ball towards Di Maria. Di Maria back towards Falcao in the penalty area. The angle is tight, forced out wide, waits, holds, does a little step over, tries to come back to the edge of the area. Back towards Rooney. Rooney looks up, curls the ball towards Januzaj, and headed behind by Schlupp. Coventry back in front. Coventry City 2, Rochdale 1, and Accrington have reduced the arrears. Accrington 1, Northampton Town 2. Rooney will take the corner for a United side that lead 2-0.
Di Maria's got his head in his hands. He cannot believe he didn't take it on his own. The brilliant work before there, and he just had to take it around the last man, who was on his heels anyway. He can't believe he made absolutely the wrong decision. But I think he was just trying to get Falcao a goal.
Rooney with the corner on the left, just flicked on ever so faintly, I think, by Daley Blint. Back towards Rooney again. Rooney's in, swinging ball in. It was a teasing ball. Drops behind for a goal kick. MK Dons are leading Crewe now by 3-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Inverness are leading Ross County 1-0. Remember, Northampton are down to 10 men in League 2, but still leading by 2-1. Back to John Southall at Stoke City.
Stoke 2, QPR 1, but Stoke have lost their captain Ryan Shawcross. He's just hobbled off, replaced by Mark Muniesa. Stoke 2, QPR 1.
And we talked before about Inverness leading 1-0. We can go to Scotland now, and at Hampden, Dundee United Aberdeen, Roddy Forsyth.
Now just about 4 minutes to go to half-time, and it's still scoreless between the north-east pair. Stuart Armstrong of Dundee United came closest with a shot that Scott Brown tipped onto the crossbar. Other than that, though, it's deadlock.
And the Old Firm you can hear tomorrow on 5 Live at 1:30 before Southampton against Swansea. Manchester United with Shaw, far side the left to Januzaj, just comes in off the touchline. Schlupp's ahead of him, almost level with that penalty area now. Januzaj on his toes will win a corner. I do like Januzaj.
Yeah, I would like to see him get more of the ball. That's maybe the only problem, and that's not his problem. If you're playing as the widest man in the midfield there, you are dependent on getting enough of the ball, but he looks so comfortable on the ball. just like more from him, but as I say, you can tell the wingers union there. It's not how you're playing, it's the amount of ball you get.
He turns 20 next week, does Adnan Januzaj. Corner kick to Manchester United. Rooney to take. Flicked on and flicked in. And Manchester United increase their advantage, now leading Leicester City by 3-0.
Yeah, that's the second corner row. They've tried to do exactly the same thing. As Dilly Blint gets to the near post, and as a well-taken corner, the first one, he just about got his head into it. That was about 3 or 4 minutes ago. This time, perfectly timed, right on the corner of the 6. Don't know why more teams don't do that, because it's almost impossible to stop it. But well done, Blint gets a little knock on, but it's the last touch
of Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan, and there's nothing much he can do. It's coming in such a speed there. Someone had to score before half-time. Had it been Leicester, game on, it's Manchester United, and you just think, how many is it going to be now?
Well, especially after we mentioned that Nigel Pearson, with that 6-0 defeat when he was the caretaker manager of Newcastle United, and we said before that this Leicester City side haven't had a spanking. They're looking for a quick goal back now, but Ulloa can't find the ball through towards Kramaric, and it's been cleared by Manchester United. Not very far though. Drinkwater will spread the ball out towards Delat. He'll keep the ball in play on this near side, the left. So the last touch came off Morgan. Manchester United lead by 3-0. It was Blint's flick on at the near post, and here is Morgan with the own goal that gives Manchester United a 3-goal lead. Morecambe have equalised at home to Wimbledon. It's 1-1. Reading have now leading Sheffield Wednesday by 2-0 in the Championship. And you're up to date on 5 Live as we're inside the last 60 seconds here at Old Trafford on 5 Live. 3-0 to United.
Nigel Pearson was thinking of making a change at 2-0. Now, certainly a tactical change at 2-0, and he must have thought to himself, no, I'll leave it till half-time. I bet he's wishing he wouldn't have.
Drinkwater with a free kick, chips the ball into a crowded penalty area. Ulloa lost his balance, quickly back onto his feet. The ball is then with King, crosses. Like a little bit of handball there from Van Persie. Almost tried to cradle the ball, didn't he, in his hands?
Almost by the top of his shoulder as much as anything else, but it's come off both shoulders there for a moment. Yeah, dangerous to do. And he was on the line, so that would have been in the box.
Chesterfield have got a goal back. Chesterfield 1, Doncaster Rovers 2 is the latest score in League One. In the Premier League, as we approach the half-times, it's Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1, Liverpool 0, West Ham United 0, Stoke City lead Queen's Park Rangers by 2-1, Sunderland 2, Burnley 0, West Bromwich Albion 0, Tottenham 2, and here at Old Trafford, Manchester United are leading by 3-0, but Leicester on the attack. This is Delat. Delat left corner of the penalty area, back towards King, continue to exchange passes. Looks like a lack of confidence and willingness to try and get forward. Now they do burst through, and here is Kramaric, takes the ball neatly, tries to thread it through towards Vardy, and they'll win a corner, Leicester City. That was better.
Yeah, a little bit better. Kramaric, you've actually hardly talked to him about him at all in this game. Obviously he's come with a big reputation, albeit from a lesser league, but that's the first really neat little bit of play there. Really intelligent slide ball through there. That's probably the best bit of football we've seen in the last third from Leicester.
28 goals in 31 appearances in the Croatian League this season. £9.5 million club record signing for Leicester. They have a corner kick on that right-hand side, and Vasilevsky was there, didn't appear to be willing to jump, comes out towards Schlupp. He'll pop this one up towards the far post and actually puts it out of play, and it drifts out of play for a goal kick, and Martin Atkinson blows his whistle, and Manchester United lead at half-time by 3-0, and these are the thoughts of Pat Nevin.
Yeah, almost didn't have to break sweat. Started really sharply and then fell away for 20 minutes, but Leicester never came out, and eventually the amount of possession that Manchester United had, you thought was going to pay, and it's paid more dividends than expected. 3 goals at half-time. Can't see any way back for Leicester just now.
And 3 goals in the last 18 minutes of the half. Robin Van Persie, Falcao and a Morgan own goal. Manchester United lead Leicester 3-0. Mark.
Don't suppose you could judge too much on 45 minutes, but with Di Maria at the tip of that diamond and Falcao ahead of him, is there a developing understanding between those two?
There should be, because they're two absolutely brilliant players, and they should be. I think the problem hasn't really been Di Maria, it's more been Falcao. He will work his socks off and he'll get into positions, but he doesn't look anywhere near the player he was before his injuries. But goals will help that a massive amount, and he certainly put in the effort there. Really, if you're a Leicester fan, you're going to talk about that first goal. In the end, you know, if you lose a goal at Manchester United, everything changes after that. You have to change your system and your style. And for me, I mean, I would like to see it with a freeze again, but we're in a good angle for it here, and I think each of us felt that was offside, the ball that was played through. But Robin van Persie won't worry about that. He went through, and it'll help his confidence now and that he scored that first goal.
And it is now for Nigel Pearson what you do at half-time, 3-0 down, and balancing, I suppose, what those Leicester fans might want to see, which is a side maybe giving it a go in the second half, and damage limitation. Might get your thoughts on that in just a moment. There's been a goal in the game between Cardiff and Derby. Hamish Marshall.
And first half stoppage time, Derby have doubled the lead. Chris Martin, 19 now for the season. A header after a cross from the right-hand side. He had an earlier penalty save, but Derby cruising now. They lead Cardiff 2-0.
Hamish, thank you very much. Yes, so damage limitation, Pat Nevin, or giving it a bit of a go?
I think you're a bit mad. A bit of a go, yeah, a bit of a go. But you certainly are not going to go out hammer and tongs and try and get back from 3-0 and put more forwards on. They're already playing 4-4-2 with two strikers up, and well, they paid the price for that in the end. You know, very few teams come here and leave two up the field. Those two up the field have had very, very little impact. Oshaw has hardly touched the ball in this game, and Kramaric was just that last minute or so there, he showed one neat little touch. So I suspect he'll adapt it a little bit. Maybe I'll go to 3 at the back, but I suspect he will go. One of those forwards is going to have to come off, give a little bit more help in midfield, because you do not want at this point in time to lose 5, 6 or whatever. You know, make sure you hold what you've got and maybe try and sneak a goal.
Let's go from Pat Nevin to Pat Murphy. How comfortable have Spurs been in that first 45 minutes, Pat?
Well, they're leading 2-0 at half-time. Believe it or not, they could be 3-2 down. Superb in the first 20 minutes or so. 2 up through a brilliant free kick from Eriksson. A terrific goal Kane made for himself, rasping shot. But then Loris 2 vital saves from Morrison and a brilliant one from Yakov, and Dawson's hit the top of the bar. It's West Brom 0, Tottenham 2.
Fascinating first 45 minutes at the Britannia. John Southall.
Yes, Stoke 2, QPR 1.5. Short on quality but not on incident. Stoke's goals both from Jonathan Walters, his 5th and 6th of the season. The first one, QPR guilty of poor defending. Carl Henry stood off as Stephen Ireland played in Walters, who finished from the left side of the area. Rob Green got a hand to it but couldn't keep it out. Walters added the second. Ireland again the supply line. Walters finished into the same right-hand corner. QPR very open at the back, but they gave themselves hope 2 minutes later. Nico Cranchard tapping in from 3 yards out after Charlie Austin's shot was deflected, and Austin got away with one just before the break. He kicked Philip Vulshide off the ball, though unseen by referee Mike Dean. QPR still in this. Stoke 2, QPR 1.
Could Sunderland be getting a much valued home win this afternoon? Dave Woods at the Stadium of Light.
Well, it's only the 3rd time this season they've managed a couple of goals at home. 2-0 they lead against Burnley at half-time. Connor Wickham with the opener after 20 minutes, a simple header in after Revier's cross from the right-hand side. And Jermaine Defoe, his first goal for Sunderland, his first goal in English football since January last year. A simple tap in from him in the 34th minute. Good build-up by Sunderland. The left-back Van Harnop providing the final ball across for Defoe to put in from very close range. Sunderland looking good on it, and they lead Burnley by 2-0.
Everton lead at Selhurst Park against the run of play. Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Yes, Crystal Palace have been very adept at coming from behind to win in Alan Pardew's brief spell in charge, and you wouldn't bet against them doing it here. They have been the better team in this first half. They've created far more chances, but they conceded a very early goal to Romelu Lukaku in the 2nd minute. Damien Delaney, I think, at fault. He was caught out trying to intercept John Stones' pass. It meant Naismith got away down the right, and his low cross was palmed onto Lukaku's knee by Julian Speroni, who then saw the ball fly past him into the back of the net. Phil Jagielka has cleared one off the line just in time, almost all of the ball over the line from Dwight Gale's clever little flick. Palace have lost Shamak to injury, but they keep on going forward, and they do look like there is a goal or two in them. Everton not playing all that well, but they are leading. Palace 0, Everton 1.
No goals, but what sounds like a good first 45 minutes at Anfield. Juliet Farrington.
Yeah, we've had plenty of incident arms and elbows, Mark. A penalty appeal as well, but no major test for either goalkeeper. Liverpool looking the more threatening, and real shouts for a penalty on the stroke of half-time. Raheem Sterling appeared to be dragged to the floor by Joey O'Brien, but the referee, he was having none of that, just like he was when Adam Lallana earlier in the first half felt his shot was handball off Winston Reid. Markovic, just moments before Sterling's penalty shout, had a real chance to put Liverpool in front. He side-footed his shot wide from 15 yards, but at half-time it's Liverpool 0, West Ham 0.
Barnsley have grabbed a goal on the stroke of half-time in League One. Chris Neal has put through his own net, so it's Barnsley 1, Port Vale 0. Let's go to the League Cup semi-final at Hampden. Aberdeen against Dundee United. Roddy Forsyth.
Yes, and I said to you, I think when we were chatting from the tunnel downstairs at Hampden, that I rather fancied that this would be a game that could go to extra time, perhaps even penalties. Well, we're halfway towards that at the moment. Scoreless, it's been deadlocked. The closest that we've come with was Dundee United. Stuart Armstrong with a dipping shot that Scott Brown did well to tip onto his crossbar and over for a corner kick. Goodwillie and Pollitt had their chances also for Aberdeen. Both of them blocked pretty well on the penalty spot, and that is why at the moment it's still scoreless.
Thank you very much, Roddy. So in the early games in the Championship this lunchtime, Middlesbrough won 1-0 at Brentford. A late Billy Sharp goal gave Leeds a 2-1 win at Huddersfield. As far as the 3 o'clock games are concerned, let's start at Cardiff, where Hamish Marshall is watching them take on Derby.
Yeah, Steve McLaren's Derby are 2 up here at the break thanks to a goal in first half stoppage time from Chris Martin, his 19th of the season, a header from 6 yards out. That made up for his early penalty being saved by Simon Moore. Jamie Ward, though, did beat the Cardiff keeper to give Derby the lead. That was thanks to the help of a deflection from Scott Malone. The home side haven't created too much. Derby heading for a 5th win in 6 league games.
Sell me the first 45 minutes at Portman Road, Rob Nothman.
Well, it's Ipswich 0, Wigan 0. It's a grey day of Suffolk sleet, and it's a game to match. Ipswich started brightly. Tab had 2 good chances, but Wigan are resolute. They're belying their 1 win in 14 games up till this particular encounter. Referee Charles Breakspear, with the Danny Mills hairstyle, has been rather fussy. The home crowd are unimpressed, and Tyrone Mings, the Ipswich left back, he looks one for the future, but if the left back catches your eye, it suggests the game is ordinary. Ipswich 0, Wigan 0.
And Nottingham Forest against Millwall next. Naz Premji.
I can't do much better. Nottingham Forest 0, Millwall 0, a cagey game with chances at a premium. Mikel Antonio was through 1-on-1 with only David Ford to beat, but the Millwall keeper came up with a good stop. At the other end, Mark Beavers with a close-range header, which De Vries palmed away one-handed. Apart from that, it's been pretty poor fare here as well. At the break, it's Nottingham Forest 0, Millwall 0.
I'll be honest with you, there aren't that many goals around in the Championship. Birmingham City 0, Norwich City 0, Blackburn lead Fulham by a goal to 0. Ben Marshall 6th of the season. The difference there. Blackpool, bottom of the table, of course, 0. Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Wolves did take the lead at the Reebok Stadium through Nua Dicko's 7th of the season, but the highly rated young player Zach Clough has scored twice for Neil Lennon's side, so it's Bolton 2, Wolves 1. I realise it's not called the Reebok anymore, but I can't remember what else it's called. Charlton, the Macron, thank you very much to whoever's in my ear. Charlton 0, Rotherham 0, and Reading are 2-0 up on Sheffield Wednesday this afternoon. Pavel Pogrebniak has got one of those goals. Let's go to Huddersfield Town. As I said, Leeds won by 2-1 earlier today, but the aftermath really of that game dominated by a serious injury to a Huddersfield player. Let's get the latest on that from Gary Flintoff.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Real concern here for the Huddersfield defender Tommy Smith, who's been airlifted to Leeds General Infirmary. The Yorkshire Air Ambulance actually cleared to land on the pitch 20 minutes after the final whistle. Now, Smith was injured as he attempted to stop Leeds' Billy Sharp from scoring a last-minute winner and was actually treated for 9 minutes on the pitch before being carried off on a stretcher. The Huddersfield manager, Chris Powell, says, "I'm not a medical man, but as far as he understands it, Smith has suffered major head or neck trauma." He went on to say his thoughts are with his player and Tommy's family, and they hope for good news later this afternoon.
OK, thank you very much, Gary. Let's go into League One. Delayed kick-off at Bramall Lane this afternoon. So, you still got about 15 minutes to go in the first half of Sheffield United Swindon. Seth Bennett?
6-0. Sheffield United pushing really for the first time in this game. They just had a great chance with Shea Adams, who was the star the other night. He cut inside, nutmegged his man, and then from 23 yards curled one wide of the target. 10 changes made by Nigel Clough. They really did look at odds and ends for long periods. The men in magenta from Swindon having the best chance, so that falling to Swift. He crashed his volley from 12 yards off the bar. 0-0.
Elsewhere in League One, it's Bradford who've actually lost their last 2 in that division. 0. Colchester United 1. Chesterfield flying high in the playoffs 1. Doncaster Rovers 2. James Coppington 6th of the season, one of Doncaster's goals. Coventry lead Rochdale by 2-1. Crawley Town bottom of the table, no win in their last 15 in all competitions. Lead Simon Grayson's Preston by a goal to nil. It's Crewe nil, MK Dons 3. Devante Cole Robinson's new signing, has got a couple of those for his side this afternoon. It's Leyton Orient nil, Scunthorpe United 2. George Elokobi among the Oldham goal scorers this afternoon, and they lead Notts County by 2 goals to nil. And Peterborough are a goal up on Yeovil Town. Marcus Maddison's 9th of the season for Darren Ferguson's side. The difference between the two teams there. Let's go into League 2 next. Sohail Sahi is watching Wickham, the leaders of course, and they are taking on Portsmouth this afternoon. Sohail.
Yeah, Mark, it's 0-0 here at Adams Park. A lively, spiky first half dominated by Portsmouth. New signing Matt Tubbs has had 4 chances. 1 was blocked by good defending, 2 by alert goalkeeping, and the 4th was wide of the target. Wickham through Joe Jacobson hit the crossbar at the end of the half, and we've got fairy cakes to enjoy at half-time, Mark. 0-0. Enjoy the fairy cakes. In League 2, other scores, it's Accrington 1, Northampton Town 2. Northampton down to 10 men in that game, though. It's Burton 0, Bury 0, Carlisle 0, Mansfield Town 1. Goalless between Dagenham and Redbridge and Cheltenham Town. It's Exeter 1, Tranmere Rovers 1. They're in great form of Mickey Adams' side. They've taken 15 points from their last 8 games in League 2, but they're being held at Exeter this afternoon. Hartlepool 1, Plymouth 1, Luton 3, Cambridge United 0. Of course, Cambridge coming here to Old Trafford on Tuesday night for the FA Cup replay, a game you can hear here on 5 Live. It's Morecambe 1, AFC Wimbledon 1, Newport County 0, Shrewsbury Town 0, Southend 0, York 0. Goalless between Stevenage and Oxford as well. You're up to date with all the league scores in England. Let's break for the BBC News with Richard Foster.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet. This is BBC 5 Live.
The German Chancellor Angela Merkel has ruled out cancelling more of Greece's debt. The Syriza party came into power in Athens last week by promising to end austerity and cut Greece's debt in half. In Madrid, tens of thousands of people have joined a march for change called by the Spanish left-wing anti-austerity party Podemos. A British military healthcare worker treating Ebola victims in Sierra Leone has been flown back to England for monitoring. Public Health England says the medic was exposed to a contaminated needle but isn't showing signs of the virus. The Association of Chief Police Officers says it supports the wider issuing of tasers, but only if individual officers agree to carry them. The head of the Police Federation, Steve White, has called for all rank-and-file officers in England and Wales to be armed with tasers because of the heightened terrorist threat. A hot air balloon that's broken the world record for distance and duration travelled has landed safely just off the Mexican coast after 6.5 days in the air. The Two Eagles team says the pilots made a gentle water landing after being blown off course. And more than £126,000 has now been donated to an online fund set up for a disabled pensioner who was mugged outside his home in Gateshead. The donors include 2 people who've given £1,000 each. The attack left Alan Barnes too afraid to return to the house in Gateshead.
The fall was spectacular.
Rangers Football Club has gone into administration.
The fallout, even more so.
The Scottish champions will also have 10 points deducted.
And a journey began.
3rd Division champions last season, this season's League One winners.
Approximately 31,531,255 seconds. 525,949 minutes and 8,765 hours later. The old firm reunite. Celtic versus Rangers. The Scottish League Cup semi-final. Sunday. Kick-off 1:30 in 5 Live Sport from 12.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Of course, in the early game in the Premier League, it finished Hull 0, Newcastle United 3. You'll hear from both managers, Steve Bruce and John Carver, during Sports Report. John Carver, though, saying it was a fantastic feeling to be in charge of this football club after that 3-0 win. Of course, he's in charge until the end of the season. Let me just give you the other half-times very quickly. Lots of games off in the conference, but the games that are going ahead: Dartford 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Forest Green 1, Nuneaton 0, Lincoln 0, Dover 0, Southport 0, Gateshead 1, Chester 2 on up at Welling, Woking lead Alfreton by a goal to 0, Wrexham 0, Torquay 0, and in the Scottish Premiership, Dundee 0, Hamilton 0, Inverness 1, Ross County 0, Motherwell a goal down at home to St Johnstone, and they're down to 10 men in that game as well. We are back underway here at Old Trafford. Manchester United leading Leicester City by 3 goals to 0. Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Mark. And Leicester City have made a change. And that change is that Estienne Cambiasso has come on to replace Vardy at the start of half-time. The Argentine, the former Argentine international, who's missed the last 2 in the Premier League with a thigh injury. He was an unused substitute against Tottenham in the FA Cup last weekend, comes on. It was his first start for Leicester, and in fact he scored against Manchester United when the sides met back in September. But the bald-headed figure of Cambiasso is on. That is the change. Manchester United haven't made a change. Red shirts, white shorts, black socks, playing from right to left. As that blue sky has made way, we've now got weak winter sunshine here at Old Trafford. And just the odd patch of blue sky, but Manchester United in a very comfortable position indeed, leading by 3-0, and those goals in the first half from Robin van Persie, admittedly a suspicion of offside, Falcao, and then a Morgan own goal. But Manchester United looking good to consolidate their place in the top 4.
I think you're being a wee bit polite by saying suspicion of offside.
I'm always polite, unlike Mark Chapman.
It certainly looked a decent distance offside there, and a lovely ball through by Blint, though. I think he had a smashing first half. I think he was one of the best players on show today. But certainly Pearson felt that he's made a mistake. He's changed it now to a 4-1-4-1. Right, actually 4-1-4-1 it is, absolutely, because I was looking at it closely, he's gone more to a 4-5-1. But anyway, there's one guy up front, sure, he's on his own, and he's going to have a hard task for the rest of this game.
Here is Rooney. Of course, they might well be looking to protect a goal difference as well, as Falcao sidesteps the challenge of Drinkwater and then runs into Delat, who's playing at left back. I'll run through the 2 teams for you. Shaw, the Manchester United left back, tries to run into the penalty area and links up with a pass from Januzaj, but Januzaj's chip couldn't reach him. Comes back to Januzaj, to Di Maria, and Di Maria dinks the ball into the penalty area. Van Persie's gone the wrong way, so that's through into the arms of Mark Schwarzer. So Schwarzer's in goal for Leicester. You've then got Simpson, Morgan, Vasilevsky and Delat across the back. You've got Cambiasso now, who's just sitting, and then you've got King, Drinkwater, Schlupp and Kramaric, and then Ulloa is up front for Leicester City. And for Manchester United, De Gea is in goal, Valencia, Jones, Rojo and Shaw. They're playing 4-4-2. Blint at the base of that diamond, Rooney and Januzaj, Di Maria, Van Persie and Falcao. Manchester United attacking the Stretford end on 5 Live, leading by 3-0. And you think beforehand they'd scored 5 goals in their last 6 games. They've just bagged 3 in the first half. And they continue to remain solid at the back because their defence hasn't been an issue of late, which is surprising when you consider the amount of different combinations that Louis van Gaal has had to employ during the course of the season, about 13 or 14.
They've looked really comfortable, and again a big part of that is Blint. I mean, he's very intelligent the way he plays there. He's not always the strongest player, but he reads the play really well, and as I speak he wins the ball again. But free kick given against Rojo.
Mind you, I should point out in the interests of a bit of fairness and balance that Leicester City haven't really caused Manchester United's back line too many problems today, as Drinkwater does get forward and gets round the back, but is a little bit heavy as he cut the ball back, and it's in the air and out of play for a throw over on that far side. But they haven't been stretched at all.
No, they haven't been, and that's a lot to do with the fact that Manchester United, when they've got the ball, they've held it really well. I mean, Wayne Rooney's held it well, but he's not always pushing it forward as quickly as he'd want to push it forward. But hold the ball, control the game.
A goal at Hampden Park, Roddy Forsyth.
And the breakthrough came from Aberdeen. There was really no great menace in the ball when it came out. It was a throw in from Considine on the left. But there was the man Daniels, the new signing, who's been on loan from West Brom this season, and he got his head to it, managed to flick just enough altitude on it to beat Czerniak in the Dundee United goal. So the holders are 1 to the good.
Thank you, Roddy. And tomorrow at 1:30 on 5 Live, it's Celtic against Rangers that you can hear on 5 Live. But we're going to Anfield and Juliet Farrington.
Raheem Sterling looking lively, starting the second half where he left off in the first. Remember those strong appeals for a penalty right at the end of the first half, but he's just fired over and provided a great opportunity for Alberto Moreno, but Moreno just couldn't control Sterling's cross on the volley, and he sliced it away from goal. It's still Liverpool 0, West Ham 0.
BBC is the place to be on a Saturday afternoon for your football fix, as Januzaj with a teasing ball in from low on the left-hand side, and that was gathered in by Schwarzer. Whether it's watching on Final Score, the BBC Sport website, or indeed 5 Live, and you can listen wherever you go. We keep the goals as they go in, and there has been a goal now at Anfield. Juliet Farrington.
1-0 Liverpool. Raheem Sterling, this time right place, right time, picking up on a loose ball and firing past Adrian in the West Ham goal. He's just picking himself up from the corner the flag as his teammate piled on top of him. Liverpool have the advantage here. 5 minutes into the second half. Raheem Sterling, Liverpool 1, West Ham 0.
And that's now 17 league games away from home without a clean sheet for West Ham United. Manchester United have conceded a free kick for Leicester City. So Leicester City trailing by 3-0. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service, to a sunny Old Trafford. And Manchester United fans are certainly happy as their side are leading Leicester by 3-0. Leicester, who staged a remarkable comeback back in September, looking to try and reduce or get back into the game with Cambiasso. Cambiasso, his free kick was a rather flat ball in, headed away, up in the air, it's put in by Danny Simpson, one of 3 former Manchester United players in this Leicester City lineup, and the bulky figure of Morgan will keep that ball in play, and then he plays a 1-2. Morgan goes down the right touchline, Morgan's cross, and in the end, Kramaric with the acrobatic scissor kick goes over the top, out of play for a goal kick. So, to the Hawthorns, West Brom against Tottenham and Pat Murphy.
Tottenham still leading 2-0 from those early goals from Eriksen and Kane. They nearly got another one. Eriksen, a beautiful piece of work. Skinned Brunt, dipped his shoulder, left foot just past the post. West Brom 0, Tottenham 2.
Hibs are leading Wraith in the Scottish Championship by 1-0. Scunthorpe have got a third goal at Brisbane Road. Leighton Orient 0, Scunthorpe United 3. Here is Januzaj coming forward for Manchester United. Barclays Premier League. On the BBC, 5 Live in the World Service at Old Trafford. Manchester United playing from right to left. Januzaj's low ball in to Schwarzer. And we can go to Sunderland now, the northeastern Dave Woods.
Still Sunderland 2, Burnley 0, a chance for a third and a second Defoe goal 2 minutes after the break when he scooped a shot, but a chance came to him quickly and he rather scooped his shot straight at Tom Heaton for an easy save. Remember, Burnley were trailing 2-0 against Manchester City at the back end of last year, so they don't give up hope here. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
Delayed kick-off in our featured game in League One. It's at Bramall Lane. They're now at half-time. Seth Bennett.
And a tetchy first 45 minutes, 0-0 between Sheffield United and Swindon. 5 bookings and Michael Higdon replaced for his own self-preservation. Both sides have hit the woodwork. First swift off the bar for Swindon, and then just on the stroke of half-time, a Davis free kick from 19 yards hit the post and rolled agonisingly for him across the line before it was cleared away. Goalless at the break.
Well, let's just run through all the scores in the Premier League. If you've just joined us, wherever you may be, whether in this country or indeed listening to the World Service, Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1, Liverpool 1, West Ham United 0, Stoke City lead Queen's Park Rangers by 2-1, Sunderland 2, Burnley 0, West Bromwich Albion 0, Tottenham 2, and here at Old Trafford, Manchester United lead by 3-0, and this is the voice of Pat Nevin.
I don't know if you noticed a moment ago there, Deno, the ball was played up to Robin van Persie, and his legs just gave way as he tried to run away. Players of a certain age hate that happening because it makes you feel, well, it makes you feel old, but it makes you look as if you're older than you are. I think he just tripped over and given him the benefit of the doubt on this occasion.
He's 31 years of age now, Robin van Persie. He's voiced concerns about whether he'd get a new contract. His current deal runs until 2016 as Drinkwater loses out, and Daley Blind will pick up that ball to Januzaj, now with Di Maria outside the penalty area. It's a left-footed cross into the penalty area. Wayne Rooney will go across towards that far side, the right to retrieve it, and Rooney's cross back into the penalty area, gathered in by the evergreen Mark Schwarzer, now 42 years of age. We'll go to the Britannia Stadium. Stoke against Queen's Park Rangers and John Southall.
Stoke 2, QPR 1. Stoke have a free kick about 25 yards out, just to the right of the penalty area. Victor Moses plays it to Bardsley, who smashes one over the bar. Stoke 2, QPR 1.
Queen's Park Rangers, remember, still to pick up a point on their travels this season. Simpson with a throw, a former Queen's Park Rangers player. Januzaj, though, now for Manchester United. Excellent footwork towards Falcao, but then he was dispossessed by King. The referee, Martin Atkinson, said there was a foul previously before Falcao, and it goes in favour of United.
I have to say, Deno, I will bow to your superior knowledge here. You mentioned Januzaj before, and I'm thinking, is he playing that well? Since you've mentioned him, he's been absolutely brilliant. Every time he's got the ball, he's got Simpson, he's gone completely and utterly on toast.
Why, thank you, Pat. The £10 is in the post.
No, he's been brilliant since then. And Simpson doesn't know where to stick or twist just now. Every time he gets the ball, he looks brilliant with his pace, but also his balance has been superb as well. I mean, there's so many good quality players in the United side going forward just now, but I'm tempted to say get the ball out here to him and individualise him against Simpson.
Valencia on that right-hand side. Leicester City's defence was stretched there. United utilising the width of this expansive playing service. And here is Januzaj, left corner of the penalty area, into the box. Januzaj can't work over the cross. Shaw helps out behind him. Manchester United red shirts playing from right to left as we look. Di Maria infield towards Blint, helps it on his way but goes out towards the right-hand side. Jones, every outfield player is in the Manchester United half. They lead by 3-0. 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC. And Blint will go backward a square with a pass towards Shaw, and then at walking pace he'll find Januzaj, and Leicester City can't get the ball.
It's absolute torture when you're playing against this. You're 3-0 down, you're at a place like Old Trafford. There are one or two places this can happen to you as a player. In the opposition, you're thinking, what can you do? You're not going to kick the ball. You're just basically chasing shadows for the entirety of the game, and that's what the Leicester City have had to do since the second half started, and maybe just from the end of the first half. This is torture as a player, but you still have to get through it. You still have to work hard.
And their patience was certainly rewarded in the first half. Manchester United lacked that little bit of creativity, but they kept trying. There was a fortunate first goal, as Pat has already mentioned, with that offside against Robin van Persie. But since then, they've built on it with goals from Falcao, and then again a degree of fortune with the Morgan own goal, but leading by 3-0. It looks unlikely. In fact, they're going to add to it maybe. Here is Rooney. Rooney towards Falcao. He's set up. Falcao is forced out wide. Falcao will turn towards Van Persie. Side onto goal. Van Persie gets the ball stuck underneath his feet inside the penalty area. Might break towards Di Maria. Blint will try and win it back as he challenges Cambiasso. And Leicester City will get the ball away from their own penalty area. And Schlupp will look to try and make further progress. But Valencia has taken it away off him. And Manchester United are back on the attack. Valencia to Di Maria, left-footed cross into the penalty area, headed away by Morgan. Pat Nevin.
Why did Wayne Rooney not have a shot exactly the same as Angel Di Maria in the first half? The goal was on for him, the chance was on for him. He tried to find Falcao. It's everybody trying to get Falcao goals rather than scoring for themselves just now.
Here is Rooney playing the ball towards Blint. He'll go further square, centre position. Januzaj off his left foot. It moved in the air. It's over the crossbar and out of play for a goal kick. So Manchester United still lead by 3-0. Preston have equalised at Crawley. It's 1-1. Tranmere are back in front at Exeter. 2-1. Hartlepool now lead Plymouth by 2-1 and will stay in the north-east. To Sunderland, Dave Woods.
Still Sunderland 2, Burnley 0, but Burnley are showing signs in this second half. Ashley Barnes with a header which came to him swiftly, and he headed it down into the ground. An easy save for Pantilimon. We've just seen Barnes with a shot that was flicked wide by Pantilimon. The corner is half cleared away, but Burnley applying pressure here. It's still Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
Dagenham and Redbridge have taken the lead at home to Cheltenham, and Barnsley have got a second goal at Oakwell in League One. Barnsley 2, Port Vale 0. To Stoke City and John Southall.
Oh, spectacular volley, and it came in from Vargas for QPR, parried away by Begovic, and QPR just putting a bit of pressure on the Stoke goal now. It's Stoke 2, QPR 1, but is this the day that QPR get something? Stoke 2, QPR 1.
Well, Leicester are losing, Queen's Park Rangers are still behind, and of course Hull are the other side in the bottom three, who are beaten by Newcastle United, and with Burnley losing as well, the bottom four all behind. To the Hawthorns and Pat Murphy.
It's still West Brom 0, Tottenham 2. West Brom beginning to press the accelerator. They are vulnerable though to the break with their lack of pace, and the referee Kevin Friend, no friend of the West Brom players or fans. He's made one or two contentious decisions already in this second half. West Brom 0, Tottenham 2.
Don't forget 606 0500 909 and 693 after Mark Chapman and Sports Report that comes live from Old Trafford on 5 Live this evening. Falcao will lay it out towards Shaw, forward towards Januzaj, level with the penalty area on this left-hand side. Leicester City contemplating another change. Januzaj to the edge of the area, back towards Shaw. Leicester supporters still vocal, despite not having much of a to shout about today, and as it balloons up in the air and is gathered in by Schwarzer, we'll go back to Anfield and Juliet Berrington.
Well, Liverpool lead by 1-0. Andy Carroll has just received a yellow card from referee Andre Mariner. He appeared to hurt himself. He was rolling around in the penalty area after clashing with his friend Emir Can in the first half. He was punching the floor, but it looked a really nasty challenge as well. Carroll on Can. but Carroll looks to have come out worse. Mignolet and Skirtle, they kind of got in each other's way, and then Andy Carroll slipped in as he tried to challenge Emir Can, and he caught the defender as he hobbles off. The stretcher has been taken away. There was a big stoppage in play though. Liverpool still lead by 1-0.
You'll be able to see that as most of the games tonight, and in fact all of the games, as Di Maria will come forward for Manchester United, edge of the area, going on the long way round on the left-hand side. It's a right-footed cross, headed away by De Laat to the edge of the area. Rooney tees himself up, shoots, blocked, comes back, and then eventually cleared by Schlupp over the top towards Ojoa. And now Ojoa up against Rojo. And Ojoa tries to get in front of Rojo. Rojo then throws him to the ground. Referee Martin Atkinson looking towards his assistant on this near side, and instead it will be a throw. Meanwhile, another goal at Hampden in the Scottish League Cup semi-final. Roddy Forsyth.
And we're back all square. Dundee United coming back into it from a corner kick. Very surprising given Aberdeen's dominance in defence and in the aerial joust. But Callum Morris, youngster, getting up a bullet header straight in almost at the back post there, and it's now Dundee United 1, Aberdeen 1. And
I mentioned match of the day, 10:30 tonight, England, Wales and Northern Ireland, but not Scotland, because of course with that League Cup semi-final, Sports Scene's on at 10:30, and match of the day follows that at about 11:10. Oxford United lead Stevenage by 1-0. You're up to date on 5 Live. We can check in for the first time in the second half at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace and Everton and Alistair Bruce-Ball.
12 minutes gone in the second half here. A lot of Crystal Palace pressure. They still can't find a way through. Everton leading through the early Romelu Lukaku goal. They came into this game with just 1 win in 10 Premier League games. It would be a precious 3 points today, and at the moment they still lead. Palace 0, Everton 1.
We have a double substitution taking place here at Old Trafford, and you equally have one too at the Stadium of Light, Dave Woods.
Yes, we do. Still 2-0 for Sunderland, but Burnley have just made a double change. Ross Wallace and Lucas Jutkovic have come on. George Boyd and Danny Ings amongst those who've gone off. And Ings has not looked in sorts today with all the speculation swirling about his immediate future. Well, he won't be taking any further part today. And just one footnote as well, 44,000 here today, Ian, and given Sunderland's home record this season, that's pretty amazing. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
Thank you, Dave. I wonder they'll probably travel in good numbers as well to Craven Cottage during the week. The FA Cup replays, of course, and we'll have news of Manchester United against Cambridge on Tuesday on 5 Live, followed by Bolton against Liverpool, and that's after transfer deadline day. All the coverage with Mark Chapman from 7 till 11 on Monday night. Well, Leicester's changes have been made. Nugent has replaced Ujoa. Albrighton has come on for Andre Kramaric, as we're going to go to Anfield and Juliet Farrington.
Yep, Andy Carroll substituted, 63 minutes gone here. He was on a yellow card after a nasty-looking challenge even on Emir Can. Gave him a bust lip in the first half, but this time he looked to have come off worse. His studs were up as West Ham have just fired a shot low into Simon Mignolet, but Carlton Cole has replaced it, Andy Carroll. His afternoon's over, and not the return he was looking for here at Anfield this afternoon. Liverpool still lead through Raheem Sterling. Liverpool 1, West Ham 0.
Juliet, thank you. As Januzaj tried to come forward, former Manchester United player in fact it was King who looked like he'd fouled him. The referee says play on. United come forward now. Little flick by Rooney doesn't come off towards Di Maria, and it's brought away by Schlupp, and now those blue shirts can break, and it's over on that far side. It's with De Laat. 63 minutes played. Manchester United are still leading by 3-0 as Burton Albion, unbeaten in 8, are leading Bury by 1-0 in League Two. Burton Albion under Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, third in the table this morning, leading 1-0. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, in this game you don't think it's going to change, but it's suddenly got a little bit more open, and those changes that Leicester City have made. Albrighton coming on, he's got a better pace. He can maybe break into those spaces that Manchester United are beginning to leave at the back now. You know, they're certainly not shutting up shop, Manchester United, so if you get a goal you never know, but I don't expect it.
We talked before about United up until today scoring 5 in their last 6 games. Manchester United and De Gea have only conceded 2 in their last 6. There's a penalty at the Hawthorns. Pat Murphy.
And it's going to Tottenham. The referee, Kevin Friend, decided that Carl Walker's cross was handled by Lescott. I do believe it hit the back of his arm, close to his shoulder. He could do nothing about it. I think they're a bit unlucky here, West Brom, but Harry Kane will disagree. He is over the ball on the penalty area, on the penalty spot. It's 2-0 to Tottenham. Will it be 3-0? Here he comes, right foot. It is 3-0. Sends Foster the wrong way. West Brom 0, Tottenham 3.
And that takes Harry Kane, his tally, to 20 for the season, which is a very prolific campaign for a striker who will no doubt spearhead England's under-21 campaign in the Euro finals in the Czech Republic in the summer. Manchester United, like Tottenham, are leading by 3-0 here at Old Trafford. Falcao, and they might well add to that tally as well, the way it's going. We'll drop into the Championship, shall we? Cardiff against Derby County. Hamish Marshall.
Quiet first 15 minutes of the second half. That'll please Derby. They still lead through first half goals from Chris Martin and an own goal from Scott Malone. Cardiff still struggling to create anything of substance. They're just bringing on Kenwyne Jones now. Cardiff 0, Derby 2.
Di Maria chips the ball forward, headed away by Vasilevsky. Here is Drinkwater turning into trouble. Eventually he plays a square ball, which Albrighton will just quickly clear, but it was an aimless ball away downfield, and Leicester City unable to retain the ball at all, and it's Manchester United who are in full control as Rooney plays the ball out towards Valencia. Valencia now looks to attack Delat on that far side, right corner of the penalty area, back towards Rooney, standing still, square towards Blint. Blint now with a left-footed ball, unable to control it was Falcao. Vasilevsky will go back to Schwarzer, and he clears, but it goes straight towards Rooney. They can't get out, Leicester City. Here is Valencia. Manchester United's crowd won a fourth goal. Valencia edging his way unchallenged to the edge of the area, and only then does the move break down, and Cambiasso will clear for Leicester City as we go to Portman Road and Rob Nothman.
Ipswich 0, Wigan 0. The first half was poor, the second half is worse. Both goalkeepers in danger of frostbite. 0-0.
Dagenham and Redbridge have conceded an equaliser. It's Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Cheltenham 1, and Blackburn in the Championship now lead Fulham by 2-0 as Rooney on the edge of the area, dispossessed by Cambiasso, and to Anfield, Juliet Farrington.
Anfield is on his feet. Liverpool still lead West Ham by 1-0, but in the 67th minute it looks like Daniel Sturridge, 5 months out and 32 days, as Henderson just flashes a shot wide of Adrian's goal. Sturridge is about to make his comeback. He's coming onto the pitch in replace of Markovic for the final few moments of this game, shall I say. I wasn't very good at GCSE maths, it has to be said. But he's coming on for the final 22 minutes of this game. He's taking some water, he's taking instruction from Brendan Rodgers, he's got his gloves on, it is a little bit chilly here, but Markovic running towards him, as Sturridge takes his hands, he high-fives, and Sturridge walks on to Anfield after 5 months out injured. Liverpool still lead West Ham by 1-0.
Good news for Liverpool, and good news too for Roy Hodgson, I'm sure, as he looks to build his fitness after such a lengthy absence. Substitution here for Manchester United, who lead by 3-0. Robin van Persie coming off, and young Paddy McNair coming on midway through the second half. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and just while we were away there, the best chance I would say of the entire game for Leicester City, it was Jones who was caught in the right back position. A little bit of a poor back pass there, and on to it was Nugent, like a shot. However, the one piece of action so far that De Gea has had to make, made it well. Out into the corner of the box, like lightning, makes the save.
Thwarted by the ever alert David De Gea for Manchester United, looking to take his clean sheet tally into double figures. Manchester United, who are now on the back foot as Nugent will pick up that ball, and it actually comes off the knees of Blint and through towards De Gea. Leicester City side who haven't scored in their last 5 visits to Old Trafford since 1998, which was the year to the day that they actually last won here. Tony Cottee with the goal in a 1-0 victory.
By the way, are we playing offsides today? Because just another offside with the assistant just in front of us. He missed the goal in the first half for 1-0. That was a blatant offside here, so he's certainly not biased in favour of anyone, but certainly Leicester City were offside as they broke there.
Leyton Orient 1, Scunthorpe United 3. Leyton Orient have a goal back in League One. So in the Premier League, this is how it stands. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1, Liverpool 1, West Ham United 0, Stoke City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Sunderland 2, Burnley 0, West Bromwich Albion 0, Tottenham 3. Chelsea against Manchester City to come. We'll have the team news from our football correspondent John Murray when we get it. As Drinkwater will, oh no, it won't be a corner kick, it'll be a goal kick instead. And here at Old Trafford, Manchester United will be going third in the table. Back into the Championship, Nottingham Forest, Millwall, Naz Premji.
Nottingham Forest 0, Millwall 0. The first half poor, the second half better. Tesher with a shot for the home side which hit the crossbar from 30 yards out, and a few moments ago Antonio 2 yards out, open goal. He missed, he fired over. How did he miss? Nottingham Forest 0, Millwall 0.
Two latest scores for you in League Two. Northampton have got a 2-goal cushion at Accrington. They lead by 3-1, and it's Stevenage 0, Oxford United 2, a latest score from Broadhall Way. 20 minutes to go here at Old Trafford. 3-0 Manchester United.
Yeah, and they've changed their system again. They've gone to a 4-2-3-1 Manchester United just now. The system favoured by many teams at the moment. The two sitting players are Wayne Rooney and Blint. And in front of them, on the left-hand side, we've got Januzaj. Right, Valencia has moved up from right back with McNair moving back. And obviously Di Maria staying in his normal position. Seeing that Robin van Persie's gone on, leaving Falcao up on his own. So he does like to change his systems, Louis van Gaal, and he's done it again today.
Very adaptable, the Dutchman, as Fulham have got a goal back at Ewood Park. Blackburn Rovers 2, Fulham 1 is the latest score in the Championship. Here is Rooney right of the centre circle to Blint, unchallenged. Leicester have everybody back bar Nugent, who will now in that shuffling action put pressure on Rojo. He switches play towards Jones. McNair is out to that right-hand side. Jones will turn and Jones will go all the way back. He started 9 of the last 10, has Phil Jones. It's his best run of the season. As we will go to our featured game in League Two and find out how the leaders Wycombe Wanderers are doing against Portsmouth. Sahel Sahi.
0-0 so far, Ian. 69 minutes played. All the chances in the first half. Nothing in the second half. 0-0. And a header just gone wide. 0-0.
Thank you, Sahel. Simpson challenging Di Maria. Di Maria stayed down. Blint will keep the ball going for Manchester United. Falcao will play it out towards Valencia. Valencia's on the attack. Valencia has McNair on the overlap. Valencia into the penalty area. He crosses over the head of Falcao, and this will enable Danny Simpson to play the ball up towards Albrighton. Albrighton quickly on the inside of Shaw, plays it forward towards Nugent. Rojo was tight though behind Nugent and goes back towards the Leicester penalty area. Pat Nevin.
McNair will be devastated there and made a brilliant run in the outside there of Valencia. Valencia held the ball. The pass was on there. McNair didn't get it. He'd love to have got a chance to go to the byline.
5 Live from the World Service from the BBC here at Old Trafford. Daley Blint, Northampton now lead Accrington by 4-1. That'll be 4 straight wins for Chris Wilder's side. Here is Di Maria. Di Maria waits. I'm sure this full house at Old Trafford would want another goal. Januzaj doing the step overs as he dances his way into that penalty area, and he wins a corner kick for his efforts.
Well done, Simpson. He's actually sticking to his job. He's doing his very, very best. He's got a tackle in there, but if you're a winger attacking the full-back there, you think worst case scenario, I'll get a corner kick out of this, and that's exactly what Januzaj got. Maybe the one thing I would say about Januzaj, his final ball hasn't been great so far in this game. He's been tormenting his full-back. He's been getting and buying him regularly, but final ball hasn't created anything yet.
Rooney then to take the corner in front of the Stretford end, in front of the tunnel area, in towards the near post, and it'll be Albrighton who on the edge of his area will bring that ball away for the Royal Blue Shirts of Leicester City. And Delat going on ahead of him. Ball played forward to the left back, held up by Valencia, urged on by the Leicester City travelling contingent, but Shaw just comes across. Good covering by the England international, and out of play it goes for a throw. So earlier today, Brentford 0, Middlesbrough 1 are results. Huddersfield Town 1, Leeds United 2. Billy Sharp with a last-minute winner for Leeds United. And our thoughts, as echoed from our reporter Gary Flintoff, to the Huddersfield defender Tommy Smith, airlifted to the Leeds General Infirmary with what Chris Powell said was head and neck trauma. So we hope he is on the road to recovery. And before I run through the latest scores in the Championship, we can get the team news from the top of the table clash in the Premier League from our correspondent John Murray at Stamford Bridge.
Well, Chelsea first, and in the absence of the suspended Diego Costa, Jose Mourinho has picked Loic Remy up front rather than Didier Drogba, who is on the bench. Ivanovic is fit, but there's no Fabregas, no Felipe Luis, both injured, so Ramirez plays in central midfield and Zuma continues alongside Terry in central defence. And Manchester City, they make just the one change from their last league match when they lost at home to Arsenal, but that's a minor surprise. Bakary Sagna playing at right back instead of Zabaleta, who is on the bench, and there's no return from injury yet for Sami Nasri, who is not in the City 18.
So a crucial game at the top of the table and a key game in the bottom half. Dave Woods at the Stadium of Light.
Still Sunderland 2, Burnley 0. Burnley still nibbling away at this game, and there's a certain fragility of confidence about Sunderland even despite that 2-0 lead. They have a free kick here though with Seb Larsson just outside the penalty area, who went for goal but has missed the target just over the top by a yard or so. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
So as promised, here are the latest scores in the Championship. Birmingham 0, Norwich 0. Blackburn Rovers lead Fulham by 2-1. Goalless between Blackpool and Brighton. Bolton lead Wolves 2-1. Cardiff 0, Derby County 2. Charlton 0, Rotherham 0. Goalless at Portland Road between Ipswich and Wigan, as is Nottingham Forest and Millwall. And Reading lead Sheffield Wednesday by 2-0 to Anfield. Juliet Farrington.
Well, Liverpool still lead by 1-0. Daniel Sturridge has come on, but the pace has slowed down quite a lot since Liverpool looked to hold on to that 1-0 lead, scored by Raheem Sterling. It's become a little bit scrappier at Anfield. West Ham forced to take off James Collins, replaced by Demel, and Mignolet, to be honest, from West Ham has only really had one save to make. Liverpool still lead by 1-0.
Manchester United still lead 3-0. Here are the latest scores in League One. Barnsley 2, Port Vale 0. Bradford City 0, Colchester 1. Chesterfield 1, Doncaster 2. 2-2 between Coventry and Rochdale. Crawley 1, Preston 1. Crewe 0, MK Dons 3. As it stands, MK Dons are going top. Leyton Orient 1, Scunthorpe 3. Oldham 3, Notts County 0. Peterborough 1, Yeovil 0. Sheffield United and Swindon in that delayed kick-off. Goalless at Bramall Lane. To the Hawthorns, Pat Murphy.
It's still West Brom 0, Tottenham 3, but Lloris in the Tottenham goal has made his third brilliant save of the afternoon. Turned by Berahino, shot, saw it very, very late, palmed it away. His reaction superb. West Brom 0, Tottenham 3.
Latest scores in League Two. Accrington Stanley 1. Northampton Town 4 as Di Maria will shoot, blocked by Vasilevsky. Burton 1, Bury 0. Burton are going top as it stands. Carlisle 1, Mansfield 1. Dagenham Redbridge 2, Cheltenham 1. Exeter 1, Tranmere 2. Hartlepool, bottom of the table, are leading Plymouth by 2-1. Luton 3, Cambridge 1. Morecambe 1, Wimbledon 1. Newport 0, Shrewsbury 0. Southend 0, York City 0. Stevenage 0, Oxford United 2. And goalless between Wickham and Portsmouth. To Selhurst Park, Alistair Bruce Ball.
Everton still holding Crystal Palace. They lead by the goal to nil. It came in the second minute from Romelu Lukaku. Positive change by Alan Pardew here. Wilfred Zaha has come on for Martin Kelly. Joe Ledley's gone to left back, and we've got Zaha against Baines for the next 20 minutes, which I think is going to be good to watch. It's Palace 0, Everton 1.
Blackpool, bottom of the table in the Championship, now lead Brighton Hove Albion by 1-0, and Carlisle have equalised 1-1 against Mansfield. And to Stoke City in the Premier League, John Southall.
Stoke 2, QPR 1, 15 minutes to go. You sense this is a chance for QPR to end this dreadful run, but at the moment it doesn't look like they're going to take it. Hoylett has come on. Barton's had a deflected shot wide. He's also picked up his 5th yellow in 5 games. Stoke 2, QPR 1.
12 minutes to go around the country. Manchester United have already made one change. Mata coming on to replace Valencia. It looks like Louis van Gaal is going to be making another change. Cambridge United to come in the FA Cup as Drinkwater comes forward and Jones comes across to put the ball out of play for a throw to Leicester. Leicester will take that throw quickly on the right-hand side as they play from left to right. Nugent midway through the United half. Simpson then will play the ball forward and Rojo will clear. Delayed kick-off, of course, in League One. Swindon look like they might well be deposed at the top of the table by MK Dons. Seth Bennett.
They are the better side here. Just 10 gone in the second half because of that delay, because of problems in the ticket office. They are the better side. Andy Williams had the best chance of the second half so far. His attempt for a 20th of the campaign was cleared away well by the goalkeeper Ian Turner. 0-0.
Straight to Stoke, John Southall.
Chance here for QPR. Stoke 2, QPR 1, but it's a QPR free kick about 5 yards outside the D, and it looks like Joey Barton will be the man who will take it. Remember, 10 straight defeats for Queen's Park Rangers in the league so far this season. Will this be the day when they pick up that first point of the season? Here's Barton with the free kick. He's hit the crossbar and it's cleared away by Stoke. Stoke City 2, QPR 1.
Motherwell, who I think are down to 10 men, have equalised at home to St Johnstone. Motherwell 1, St Johnstone 1, and to Hampden, Roddy Forsyth.
And at the moment it's still 1 each, but we've had chances at both ends that really could have been goals. The first from Stuart Armstrong, getting around the goalkeeper, placing the ball into what looked like a certain corner of the net, only for it to be hooked away by Considine. And then a good Willie header. He did everything correctly, bounced it on the 6-yard line, but it went over the crossbar. This is absorbing, but it's still 1 each. Extra time beckons.
Thank you, Roddy. Manchester United leading by 3-0. Cambiasso, though, in the penalty area. Right-hand side, Albrighton with the cross towards the far post, and Vasilevsky, although has popped up to reduce the arrears. Vasilevsky for Leicester City. Meanwhile, a goal at Anfield. Juliet Farrington.
2-0 Liverpool, and guess who was on the end of it? Yes, that's right, Daniel Sturridge played a delightful ball through from Coutinho. The dance is back at Anfield. Sturridge is back at Anfield, and he put Liverpool 2-0 in front against West Ham this afternoon.
Elsewhere around the country, Barnsley 2, Port Vale 1, MK Dons have got a fourth goal at Crewe. Ross County have equalised at Inverness. It's 1-1 now in the Scottish Premiership. And at Valley Parade, it's Bradford City 1, Colchester 1, as Falcao is replaced by Wilson. But Pat Nevin, your thoughts on the Leicester goal?
Yeah, well, the game had almost gone to sleep for about 10 or 15 minutes. Not much going on as we went around the grounds there, but just a little bit of a break there. Cambiasso at the middle of it. And eventually the corner comes in, and Manchester United quite simply didn't deal with it. It's 3-1. You think, surely not. It's so unlikely now, but since the changes have been made by Manchester United, they've lacked a little bit of urgency. And oddly enough, it was since Robin van Persie went off, McNair came on from, just the shape hasn't looked as comfortable for Manchester United. They've made all three changes now. And let's see if the players seem to understand where each other's going. If they lose another goal now, we have a very exciting finish.
Yes, we do. Well, they've got a goal back with 10 minutes to go, and that at least is good news for the travelling support who've been very vocal away to our right-hand side. Hartlepool United going to get a rare win. Ronnie Moore celebrated his birthday during the week, and Hartlepool United lead Plymouth by 3-1. Second place Shrewsbury leading Newport now by 1-0. And you're up to date on 5 Live in the World Service as Nugent with a cross from the right doesn't keep it in play. It drops high and out of play for a goal kick. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, Nugent's pace has caused a few problems since he's come on. He's looked very, very lively. Sometimes if you come on, they're 3-0 down and it's looking really bad. You know, the certain players will think, do I really want to go on here? Thanks, Gaffer, for putting me on. However, since Nugent's come on, attitude's been superb. Pace has been brilliant, and he's certainly given Roger a few questions.
Should say as well, that's the first goal for Wasilewski, the Polish international for Leicester City, in his 51st appearance for the club. So Manchester United lead by 3-1 as Mata is just blocked and checked as he ran towards Schwarzer, who will clear. Commanding header forward by Jones, taken high on the chest by Januzaj. Januzaj then will play the ball towards Shaw. Manchester United will try and see this game out now as they look to go third in the table. Southampton, of course, play tomorrow against Swansea, a game you can hear on 5 Live. Scunthorpe now lead Leyton Orient by 4-1. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1. Liverpool now lead West Ham United by 2-0. And a dream return for Daniel Sturridge on the score sheet after 5 months out through injury. Stoke City lead Queen's Park Rangers by 2-1. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0. And Spurs lead West Bromwich Albion by 3-0. That'll be a first defeat under Tony Pulis for West Brom. Chelsea, Remy starts instead of Drogba in the absence of Diego Costa. Chelsea, Manchester City, regular updates here on 5 Live into Sports Report and 606. Robbie Savage and Jason Mohammed, 0500 909 and 693. Albrighton shoots on the edge of the area, right-footed over the crossbar. Back to Selhurst Park, Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Still Palace 0, Everton 1. So Everton just over 10 minutes away from a first Premier League win in 7 games. They very nearly sealed it here. McGeady got away down the right-hand side. Everton playing on the break. His low cross just evaded Romelu Lukaku in the middle. So Palace still looking for that equaliser. Palace 0, Everton 1.
West Bromwich Albion Spurs, Pat Murphy.
Tottenham still 3-0 up, and Kane almost got his hat-trick a moment ago. 25-yard free kick tipped over by Foster. West Brom 0, Tottenham 3.
So when you look at the bottom 10, with Newcastle beating Hull City earlier today by 3-0, and Everton still leading at Crystal Palace, as Albrighton will sweep over the cross, taken on the chest and very comfortably and coolly done by Rooney to head the ball towards De Gea. With Aston Villa not playing, and Sunderland I suppose winning as well, the teams who are the losers so far in that bottom half of the table are Palace and West Brom and Burnley, Hull, Queen's Park Rangers and Leicester. It's still going to be extremely tight. Meanwhile, there's been a goal at Hampden Park. Roddy Pasai.
And this could be the decisive one, because we're in the closing moments, and it was Nadir Chifchi, an opportunist supreme, but he will not get a more contentious goal than that in terms of the goalkeeper's point of view, because it skimmed his hair. It was a dropping cross. Scott Brown should have done better. Instead, he let the tuck just get the edge of a hair onto it, and it went into the net. It's been a bad day for goalkeepers, and right now it's Dundee United 2, Aberdeen 1.
So Dundee United have come from behind and now lead Aberdeen by 2-1. Carlisle lead Mansfield 2-1 in League 2, and here Di Maria put through, flag stayed down, in on goal, left-footed, wayward finish.
On this occasion the flag correctly stayed down. Well done the official on the far side, who's having a much better day. Stayed down, and that's him playing almost as a centre forward. He's getting a bit of stick playing in the centre forward position of late, Di Maria, but on this occasion gets through, fantastic running, however finish well over the crossbar, should have been on target at least.
Northampton now lead Accrington by 5-1 in League Two. Martin Atkinson has given the free kick to Leicester City. We've got 6 minutes remaining, plus added on time here at Old Trafford. Manchester United are 3-1 up, but it's a little bit tighter at the Britannia. John Southall.
It is. It's Stoke 2, it's QPR 1, and we've got 8 minutes of the game remaining, and you sense that QPR believe they can get something from this. Richard Dunn's just headed wide of the post. Stoke 2, QPR 1.
And how are Burnley doing at Sunderland, Dave Woods?
Well, they're still having a go here. We've just seen Mee, the left back, up for a corner with a flicked header that was just wide of the far post, but Sunderland not looking too troubled with just a matter of minutes to go. It's Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
Don't forget, tomorrow the action will come from Australia. You've got the Tri-Series cricket final from 3 in the morning on Sports Extra, but our coverage on 5 Live of Andy Murray against Novak Djokovic from 8 o'clock, and that men's tennis open final due to get underway at around 8:30. 5 Live, BBC One, and of course the website. We have it covered across the BBC. 4 minutes remaining. Cries of "come on Leicester" from the travelling support. They have a throw on that far side, the left. Pat Nevin.
Part of the problem is they didn't get that goal early enough. They're back to 3-1. But I don't know whose changes have made the biggest difference. Certainly Leicester's changes have made them more positive, Nugent particular, and even though Brighton's pace has helped him a bit. But certainly Manchester United changes haven't helped, and that was a good cross.
Schlupp with a cross, and it was good covering. And tucked in was the left back, Luke Shaw, as there's been a goal at the City Ground in the Championship. Naz Premji.
Nottingham Forest 0, Millwall 1. The locals are leaving. A little flick ball over the top. Fuller got in between the keeper and the centre half, went round them both and popped the ball into the empty net. Nottingham Forest 0, Millwall 1.
That would be a first win in 9 for Ian Holloway's side, who were in the relegation zone this morning. McNair forward, far side the right, attacking the Stretford end. Red shirts, white shorts, playing from right to left. 3.5 minutes of normal time remain. Going backwards, crowd getting a little bit frustrated.
Well, I think they're a bit harsh there, McNair. I think McNair's looked really good since he's come on in that right full-back position because he likes to get forward.
Di Maria to Januzaj. Januzaj unchallenged in the penalty area. Time to pick his spot. Plays the ball back, looking towards Mata. Cleared by Leicester City. Albrighton now will run forward for Leicester, looking for a long, searching diagonal ball towards Nugent, who had gambled on Jones missing it, but the England international heads the ball forward. Shaw will exchange passes with his club captain, and of course captain for his country, Wayne Rooney, and then Jones gets a touch as well, and things settle down, and a lot of the United fans in front of us heading for the exits to try and beat the traffic. But Manchester United lead by 3-1. Everton still lead Palace by 1-0. That would be a first defeat for Alan Pardew as Crystal Palace manager. Liverpool lead West Ham United 2-0. Sturridge back from injury and back amongst the goals. Stoke City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1, still without a point on their travels. Sunderland 1 win in 12, lead Burnley by 2-0. West Brom 0. Tottenham Hotspur 3, Harry Kane at the double, taking his tally to 20. Let's go back to Stoke and John Southall.
It's Stoke 2, QPR 1, but Leroy Furs just absolutely smacked in a free kick from 30 yards out, saved by Begovic. In comes the corner, up goes Begovic. Stoke 2, QPR 1.
If it was to stay like that, it would be the worst start of the top flight since 1954 for a Queen's Park Rangers side yet to pick up a point, as Di Maria, with the ball at his feet almost glued, does ever so well to get out of a tight situation. To Rooney, crowded out by the three blue shirts, and Mata dropping to his knees.
Yeah, I think it was felled in.
It's a free kick.
There's probably about 4 fouls in there. The referee finally lets it go, but again, right in the middle of it there. Blind doesn't always get a lot of notice. I think he's had a great game tonight, and even at this point in time, he's helping control this and see this game out for Manchester United more than anyone else.
Crawley are back in front against Preston in League One, bottom of the table. It'll be their first win in 16 attempts. Crawley 2, Preston North End 1. Blint along the ground towards Mata, right hand side of the penalty area. Manchester United lead by 3-1 on 5 Live in the World Service. Last 60 seconds here at Old Trafford. Ball played forward, back towards Mata, too heavy, out of play for a goal kick. Back to Crystal Palace, Alistair Bruce Ball.
Well, we've still got 5 minutes plus added time here because of the lengthy first half after the injury to Marouane Shamak. It's still Palace 0, Everton 1. Actually, Everton look more likely to get the second on the break at the moment. Julian Speroni has just made a flying save from Aidan McGeady. Palace 0, Everton 1. 5 minutes plus added time remain.
Don't go anywhere. Sports Report coming up with Mark Chapman live here from Old Trafford, and Mark is in the chair from Monday night. Deadline day comes to its conclusion. 7 till 11 on Monday night and 5 live, as Rooney will go back towards De Gea, unable to make it 10 clean sheets this season. De Gea has time to pick his spot and play the ball forward. McNair is forward on that halfway line on the far side, the right. It's a ball then towards Di Maria. Di Maria turns on the edge of the area, slips, still manages to hook the ball. It might reach Wilson. 3 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. Manchester United have won it back. Rooney coming forward now. Rooney waits and will roll the ball towards McNair. First time cross, delivered low right hand side and cleared away by Morgan. United lead Leicester City by 3-1. Pat Nevin.
Brilliant move there. Di Maria looked absolutely fantastic. His pace is superb, even at this part in the game. He puts the ball in, doesn't quite make the chance there, but I think he's looked really good this afternoon. Really making good spaces there, and always his pace has been far too much for Leicester.
Delightful ball by Rooney to Januzaj. Januzaj looking towards Wilson, tries to step out and manages to work over the cross, but it goes out for a corner kick. In fact, Schwarzer got a touch to that with an outstretched hand. Back to Stoke and John Southall.
Stoke 2, QPR 1, but QPR chucking everything at this now. 2 minutes of normal time still to play as the ball comes into Zamora. Cleared away for a QPR corner. They now fancy they can get that precious point. 10 straight defeats so far this season. Is this the moment they get their point? Stoke 2, QPR 1. It's a corner that Joey Barton will take down on the far right-hand side in front of the 2,500 Queen's Park Rangers fans, and they deserve something from their travels this season. 10 times they've travelled away from home, and 10 times they've seen their side beaten. 2-1 down they trail here. Joey Barton will put the ball on the corner spot. We are now into the 90th minute of the game. Here comes Barton with the corner onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Zamora goes up, but it just dribbles away for a goal kick to Stoke. Stoke 2, QPR 1.
So it's going to be a case of as you were really at the bottom, with Leicester losing, Queen's Park Rangers losing and Burnley losing, and earlier today Hull 0, Newcastle United 3 for the bottom 4 in the Premier League. Just over 60 seconds remaining. And here is Januzaj, quickly tackled. Drinkwater will come forward, holds off Blint, out of play for a Leicester throw. A little bit case of too little too late for Leicester City.
Yeah, and it's just that lift they got from the goal and the changes that were made in the game, but yeah, too little too late. And of course Manchester United have every right, being 3-0 up, to take the foot off the gas slightly and not push on any further. But as they've pushed forward, Leicester, the gaps have opened, and I think Di Maria has looked fantastic. His pace is brilliant, and as we speak just now, he's trying to get into space again.
Cambridge United visit here on Tuesday in the FA Cup. It's a game you can hear live on 5 Live. They're playing at Kenilworth Road today, and they've got a goal back, but they're still losing. Luton 3, Cambridge United 2, and Southend United have got a late goal at Roots Hall. They may well be extending their unbeaten run to 8 games as Southend United 1, York City 0 in League 2. On the half volley, up in the air from Jones with a clearance. King's header will bounce away from Mata. It will reach Delat, who will go forward on that far side and get away from Mata, and coming across was McNair with a firm challenge, out of play for a throw. 3-1 to Manchester United. Everton still lead 1-0. Liverpool 2-0 up against West Ham. Stoke 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0. And Spurs leading at West Brom by 3-0. And Pat Nevin, a look at the watch from Martin Atkinson. Manchester United back to winning ways here at Old Trafford.
Deserved it, the better team by a good distance. However, not an impressive display that you would think was going to take them into the top 2. Good enough to get you into a top 4 sort of position, but it's good, but it's not great yet. But well done Manchester United, enough done. They can look forward to the cup game in the midweek.
Well, they've won, they've equalled 9 home wins, is which they managed all of last season, and they've beaten Leicester City by 3-1. Mark Chapman.
Do you think it could have been great rather than good if he hadn't fiddled around so much in that second half?
Yeah, I would suggest so. He wanted to try different things, but remember, he's always said the same thing, hasn't he, since he came in? Look, this is a learning curve for all my players. I have to teach them what I want them to do. I have to adapt. I have to find out about them. So in that vein, you can say, well, when's a better time to find out and try different things than when you're 3-0 up? Yes, it could have been more. But, is goal difference going to be that important at the end of the season for Manchester United? I'm not sure.
Let's go straight to the Britannia. There's been a late goal. QPR going to get their first away point of the season. John?
No, they're not. Game over. Stoke City 3, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Once again, poor defending from QPR. Jonathan Walters reacted first, 6 yards out, a diving header into the bottom corner. That's his hat-trick, and that's 11 straight away defeats for Queen's Park Rangers.
I'll give this goal because Pat will be interested. Late equaliser for Wraith at Easter Road. Hibs 1, Wraith 1. Christian Nade with that a minute into stoppage time. Final whistle has gone at Anfield. I know that all the journalists will be trying to get that post-match interview with Daniel Sturridge, Juliet Ferrington.
He's still in the centre circle, applauding the cop with his black gloves. He was only on the pitch 12 minutes before he made it. Liverpool 2, West Ham 0. It's looking good for Liverpool. Sturridge on this afternoon following a 5-month injury layoff. It was one chance, Mark, one goal and a superb finish in the 80th minute. Coutinho involved though in both of Liverpool's goals this afternoon. Raheem Sterling with their first, that came early in the second half, but not the return Andy Carroll was looking for West Ham, hobbling off just past the hour. The cheers as he walks down the tunnel for Daniel Sturridge. Liverpool 2, West Ham 0.
In League One, Oldham have beaten Notts County by 3-0. Preston now haven't won in 7 in all competitions. They've been beaten at bottom of the table, Crawley, this afternoon by 2-1. Final whistle has gone at the Stadium of Light. A rare home win for Sunderland, Dave Woods.
Yeah, mark the date in your diary because Sunderland have won at home 2-0 against Burnley. They've not done that for 3 months, only the second time this season. The goals, Connor Wickham in the 20th minute, a good headed finish from Reveilles across the right back, and the left back Van Harnolt very much involved in the second goal that saw Jermaine Defoe score his first Sunderland goal, his first in English football for over 12 months. Is this the day that Gus Poyet was hoping for? The big turnaround of the club's fortune. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
Late equaliser for Rotherham at the Valley through Danny Ward. Charlton 1, Rotherham 1. The MK Dons have got a fifth at Crewe through Daniel Powell. Crewe 0, MK Dons 5. Final whistle has gone at Hampden. Roddy Forsyth.
Dundee United 2, Aberdeen 1. All the goals, headers. Donovan Daniels opening for Aberdeen after half-time on his debut as a loan signing from West Brom from a Considine throw-in. It was a bad error by the goalkeeper Chesniak, but Dundee United responded. Callum Dow with a bullet header from a Mackay-Stephen corner kick, and then Nadir Chifchi. Was he offside? Did he actually get his head to it? As the ball dropped on the 6-yard line, the ball bounced in front of him. The goalkeeper messed it up again. Scott Brown, into the net it went, and Dundee United are in the final of the Scottish League Cup against either Celtic or Rangers.
In League One, Peterborough beaten Yeovil by a goal to 0. Scunthorpe won 4-1 at Leyton Orient. It's finished Bradford 1, Colchester 1. Final whistle has gone at the Britannia. John Southall.
Jonathan Walters is showing the match ball to the crowd. He got a hat-trick. Stoke 3, QPR 1, 11 straight defeats away from home for Queen's Park Rangers. The goals in the first half, 2 for Jonathan Walters for Stoke, but both the result of poor Queen's Park Rangers defending. Nico Cranchar pulled one back for QPR. QPR had chances in the second half. Begovic denied Vargas and Furr, and Joey Barton struck the underside of the bar before Jonathan Walters wrapped it up with a header from 6 yards out. So the dreadful run just carries on. It goes on. 11 now. Stoke to 3, QPR 1.
Burton have beaten Bury by a goal to 0 in League 2. Dagenham and Redbridge have got a third against Cheltenham. Dagenham and Redbridge 3, Cheltenham 1. In the Championship, Blackburn have beaten Fulham 2-1. It's finished Reading 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Sheffield United have got a goal in League 1. Seth Bennett.
Had a good goal as well. Lewis Reed broke down the right-hand side. He got into a crossing position, delivered a perfect ball, and there was Jamie Murphy, 9 yards out. Stabbed it home first time. The leaders behind by a goal to 0.
Harry Kane just can't stop scoring. Pat Murphy.
He's led Tottenham to a 3-0 win at West Brom. Kane and Eriksson, two splendid goals early on. Lloris then outstanding in Tottenham's goal before, I think, a rather fortuitous penalty for Tottenham led Kane to score his second goal, Tottenham's third, killing the game off after an hour. West Brom 0, Tottenham 3.
Final whistle has gone at Portman Road in the Championship. Rob Nothman.
Ipswich 0, Wigan 0. Goodness, what a stinker. Ipswich badly missed injured top scorer Daryl Murphy. Wigan, as befits a team with only 1 win in 14, were cautious and didn't create much. 0-0.
Another miserable afternoon for Nottingham Forest fans. Naz Premji.
Nottingham Forest 0, Millwall 1. A poor game decided by a single goal. It was Ricardo Fuller who got in between Stephen McLaughlin and Doran de Vries after McLaughlin's back header was poor. He went round de Vries and popped the ball into the empty net. Forest had their chances. Tesher hit the crossbar from 30 yards out and won for the Football League show tonight. Antonio missed an open goal from 2 yards out. Nottingham Forest 0, Millwall 1.
Let's go back into League 2. Find out how the leaders Wickham did at home to Portsmouth. Sahel Sahi.
It ended Wickham 0, Portsmouth 0. Mark, everything that was good about this game took place in the first half. Portsmouth dominated, and their striker Matt Tubbs had 4 chances. 1 was blocked by good defending, 2 by alert goalkeeping, and the 4th was wide of the target. Full time, Wycombe 0, Portsmouth 0.
Has Alan Pardew suffered his first defeat as Crystal Palace manager? Alistair Bruce Ball.
He has. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1. Not pretty by any means from Everton, but the win will come as a blessed relief. A first in 7 Premier League games for them, and this match decided by Lukaku's goal in the 2nd minute of the game. Jagielka made a crucial first half clearance off the line from Dwight Gale, just in the nick of time for Everton, but for all Palace's possession and pressure in this game, they didn't really create enough, particularly in the second half. Alan Pardew's first defeat in charge of Palace in his 5th game. It's a massive 3 points for Roberto Martinez. Palace 0, Everton 1.
In the Championship then, Leeds earlier won 2-1 at Huddersfield. Middlesbrough have won by a goal to 0 at Brentford. That was also a lunchtime game. Birmingham 0, Norwich 0. I've told you Blackburn beat Fulham by 2 goals to 1. Blackpool saw off Brighton. Bolton beating Wolves by 2 goals to 1. Derby are 2-0 up on Cardiff. We'll try and get you details of that very shortly as well. In the Barclays Premier League, it finished Manchester United 3, Leicester 1, Liverpool 2, West Ham 0. You've just heard that Everton have won at Crystal Palace by a goal to 0. It's West Brom who have been beaten at home. Tony Pulis's first defeat as West Brom manager. They lost 3-0 at home to Spurs. Couple of goals for Harry Kane. Stoke have beaten QPR by 3 goals to 1. Still no away point for QPR, and let's get all the details of the game at Cardiff from Hamish Marshall.
Derby the winners here by 2 goals to 0, so that's 5 wins and 6 league games for the Rams as they keep track with the pace setters. They did the hard work in the first half. Jamie Ward, his shot deflected in off Scott Malone. Chris Martin, who did an earlier penalty saved, scored the 2nd goal on the stroke of half-time with a header. Cardiff's Kenwyn Jones off the bench came closest with a header. It was well saved. Derby full value for the win.
I'll give you the scores in League One. Barnsley 2, Port Vale 0. It finished Bradford 1, Colchester 1. Reading have beaten Sheffield Wednesday by 2 goals to 0 in the Championship. MK Dons this afternoon have thrashed Crewe by 5 goals to 0. Oldham beat Notts County by 3 goals to 0. The latest from Sheffield United, and remember they are still playing at Bramall Lane. They lead Swindon by a goal to 0. They're about 15 minutes kicking off late there. Don't forget tomorrow the live sport stretches from Australia through to Scotland, through to the Barclays Premier League, and then of course to the Super Bowl as well. Full commentary of Andy Murray's Australian Open final against Novak Djokovic from 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We've got commentary of the Old Firm game as well in the Scottish League Cup. The winners of that will play Dundee United, and then it's the Super Bowl at 11 o'clock with Darren Fletcher on 5 Live, and everything gets underway on 5 Live Sports Extra from 3 a.m. ball-by-ball commentary of England against Australia in cricket's Tri-Series final. The lines are open now for 606 with Jason Mohammed and Robbie Savage, 0500 909 693, and that follows Sports Report, which is next.